Nathan.
Yes, sir.
How are you, buddy?
I'm good. I'm good, man. I'm back in my hometown,
You're from originally
Burbank. Yeah.
Were you in the biz?
I got into film when I was 16, had a head injury and started as an editor, started editing my buddies surfing and skating because I couldn't do it anymore. And
You had an accident?
I had a traumatic brain injury, yeah. So the doctors are like, you can't do anything for a couple years while we scan your brain. And so I just picked up a Mac with Final Cut 1, I think, and started editing. And 2 years later, I was working for Oakley and a couple other brands. And then my buddy and I wanted, like, from LA, from Burbank originally, we wrote a script together. And I'm like, let's move to Manhattan Beach and try to get this thing financed. So we lived off 21st and Highland and got it financed and made one of the worst flops of the history of my career.
What was it called?
Oh, Chicks Dig Gay Guys.
What? That was the name of it?
Yeah, it was about two dudes that act gay to get girls.
It's a good idea.
And
so,
it was, yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah.
So what happened?
It's a good story.
That's a good story.
We wrote the script. We didn't know how to write scripts, and
Chicks Dig Gay Guys.
Chicks Dig Gay Guys, and
what a title.
Yeah. It was right when Obama was legalizing gay marriage. So it was a hot topic. And Quentin Tarantino, the guy who discovered Quentin with Reservoir Dogs, his name's Lawrence Bender.
Of course.
We gave Lawrence Bender the script, and he read it, and he's like, it's super good, but he's like, it needs a lot of work. And he's like, let me help you massage the script. And we were just two punk kids, and we're like, nah, we want to film it. And
he wanted to massage a gay script.
Yeah.
So wait, so you were off Vim and Vinegar and Vigor. So how old were you?
I was 25, I think.
And so you're like, I'm not listening to Lawrence's Oscar-winning notes because that's what he's won, an Oscar for Pulp Fiction. And you said, no, we're going to do it. So how much did you raise?
We raised $300,000.
And you shot it where?
All throughout L.A.
And who did you star in it?
No. So my buddy, I wanted to direct. That was my directorial debut, and he wanted to act. So he was this guy named Scooter who acts gay at the bars because he just couldn't get chicks. So the premise is really fun and cute at the end because you realize it was all about breaking down stigmas and stereotypes of individuals. So the story was good, but the writing was just awful. And so we made it. And what's his name? Julia Roberts' brother. Eric Roberts is in it and a couple other players. It was fun. But it was just a total flop because the director sucked and the writing was awful.
Where did it go? Oh, you're the director.
I was the director, yeah. I actually was not. IMDB put out a 10 worst directors of all times list.
No.
I was on it. But so was Dan Aykroyd. So I was like, I'm like... I mean,
that's good company.
Good company, yeah.
So wait, so you made this movie, you raised the money from dentists and shit?
Yeah, basically begged friends and family and people that we knew to throw cash into it. And what was the studio? Relativity bought it.
I remember them.
And Relativity is still making money on it, and we've never seen a dollar. So got a bone to pick with them.
No,
they went bankrupt and
legal. That's illegal.
Yeah, they went bankrupt, and so it was buried in their catalog. So it was a wild story.
Did it even come out?
Yeah.
Theatrically?
No, not theatrically. No.
So DVD and shit.
DVD. It was huge in Germany, of course, because Germans are weird. I'm German, so.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're a native of California. Are you a surfer?
Big surfer, yeah.
Skateboarder?
My brothers are skaters. I was more surf, but yeah.
You made that movie, and then what happened?
Made Chicks Dig Gay Guys. Like I said, I was an editor, so I edited it as well. And I was just burned out of LA. And so I moved back to San Diego, and just.
You're a Diego head?
I was born and raised in Burbank and moved to Carlsbad, so North County when I was 14.
Was your family?
They're down there now, yeah.
So they left?
They're all in San Diego. I got family still in LA and in, Fullerton.
So Mission Beach?
I never went south. I was always Oceanside, San Clemente, Carlsbad.
So you didn't really go deep in Diego?
No. We were deep down there last night. We were at the Blade.
For what?
For a new documentary. So the Blade is kind of the prostitution hub of San Diego. So we were cruising through the streets last night.
So, but you live in Nashville?
No, I'm in Utah now. I'm in just outside Park City. I was living in Maui, and I bounced all over the place. So I was in Maui.
We got a little bit of a drifter vibe here.
Definitely. I was in Maui for 4 years.
Surfing?
Surfing. Well, I got a girl pregnant, and so yeah, she was out there. I was in California. Not my wife. No.
In the other room,
sweetheart.
There's a lot going on here.
Yeah, lots.
Jeez,
I've lived an interesting life.
Yes,
but so I wanted my daughter. I was like, I wanted to be born. And
so wait, so Burbank kid, family in the business?
Nope.
Just grew up in Burbank.
So how long have you been here for?
1989.
Okay, so there was my family used to own. Well, they still own the largest coffee roaster in Los Angeles. 1904. Apffel is my last name. So every old diner in LA since the 20s had Apfel's coffee.
It was a brand?
It was a
like
brand.
Maxwell House?
Yeah.
Apfel?
Yeah.
Whoa.
So some of the diners still have the old school diners still have my family's coffee brewers in their restaurants. It's pretty cool.
That is a real flex to me because LA has many different histories, but that's like one that's sneaky, but you've powered the whole movie business. You've powered so many different different counties, I'm sure. Because you were probably the coffee of LA.
We were so we owned a block of downtown Los Angeles, and that was where the roaster was for over 100 years. The roaster, the packaging facility, everything, and then the city claimed eminent domain on it and took the land.
So what did happen to the business?
They had to move out to East Los Angeles. It's still there to this day, but EPA regulations are so strict now that it just kind of buried the company in regards to building new facilities. So, but
they still make some money on it.
Yeah, it's still a massive roaster. Yeah, massive.
Are you the heir to the coffee fortune?
No, no.
Who is?
Well, I come from a big family, but there's no fortune anymore. Now it's a lot of debt because they built a huge facility. You know, the downtown Los Angeles facility was paid off for.
So wait, you're the coffee roaster.
Yeah. And
so you grew up. Did you grow up wealthy or somewhat wealthy? I
would say somewhat wealthy. But I'm one of 6 kids, and so I was never Hollywood. You know, there's that Hollywood airs. Nah, we were more like Valencia, Newhall, Santa Clarita airs. You know?
That's nice though.
So yeah, grew up in dirt.
So you lived in Burbank till you were 14. Mm-hmm. Then you moved to Carlsbad. Mm-hmm. You lived down there until you were like 21.
Until I was 22, and then moved back to LA.
Manhattan Beach.
Did my stint in LA, and then moved back to San Diego, and then ended up in Maui, which was amazing, on the North Shore of Maui. And
were you working or just
in Maui?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude, in LA, I was a tiny fish in a massive pond. I went to Maui, and I've shot a lot. And a gentleman out there, a good friend named Paul Eamon, who produces almost everything out there. I hit him up, and all of a sudden we're shooting, Temptation Island. I'm operating on Temptation Island.
So you were working on reality shows?
Yeah, so I was working on anything that came through the islands I was on.
Well, were you a segment producer or
camera operator, DP, whatever. Like operating was my jam in my early 30s.
How old are you now?
41.
So you did that, and then when you left Maui, you went back to
Utah.
Why did you go to Utah?
It was mid-COVID, and I was talking to my daughter's mom, and she had lost her job. She was running Dakine, the clothing line for the islands. She was operations manager doing that, and I'm like, I got to get off the island. I can't travel, and most of my work was in LA, so I'd be pinging back and forth between Hawaii and LA, and
hard to do
during COVID, and so I was like, let's just get off here and get to the mainland, and Utah ended up being the spot we landed.
So now you live in Utah with your wife, and you made this movie. And I really want to ask you a lot of questions. So what is the movie called?
Well, it's a docuseries.
It's a series.
Called The Religion Business.
And what got you interested in it?
Were you raised religious at all?
Catholic.
Okay. I was raised not.
And I was never even touched.
Really? Good for you.
Which made me feel like I wasn't cute.
You wanted to be on that roster?
So I had to join the Boy Scouts.
There you go.
They took care of me.
They took care of you. Did they? Wait, are you serious? Jeez. I'm like, the Boy Scouts are dark too.
Dark.
Yeah.
No, but I was raised Catholic, but normal, like, you know, like there's a great movie with Kevin Dillon.
Okay.
God, what's it called? Is it Heaven Help Us? It's the best movie about Catholic school, and that was my upbringing.
Okay.
Go watch. It was his first movie. It's incredible.
Okay.
But like nuns, like hitting you with rulers.
Yeah.
And priests. My whole joke is a nun taught me how to throw a football, which they did because they were really butch.
Yeah.
And priests taught me how to dance because they were really fey.
There you go.
It's like more shelter. So that's why I'm so confused. But no, 12 years I went to Catholic school.
Okay.
But nothing like crazy.
Yeah. So you have religion in your
I was an altar boy. I was real too.
Oh, look at you.
But like I wasn't touched.
You weren't. Yeah.
That's a joke. But it was. I really wasn't.
You did the whole confessional and
all of that. You go into a dark room with an old man and tell him, thoughts. But nothing weird.
Nothing weird. Well, there you go. Because there's a lot of good bishops and clergy out there. Then there's a lot
more than bishops.
Yeah, there's a lot of shady ones too.
Teachers, priests, helpers.
Yeah, the
whole deal.
Yeah,
you're surrounded by it.
Yeah,
there was someone on this couch that talks about this all the time. Just a couple of days ago, who says it. And you forget it. You don't realize this shit. You know what I'm saying? But it's everywhere.
Yeah, it is.
So go ahead.
Yeah, so
the religious business.
The religion business. And I was raised in mega churches and big churches here in LA.
So when you say mega churches in LA, give me an example.
2,000 people plus in the congregation. So
what would it be? What would be one of those churches?
I don't even I haven't been to one in LA in a long time.
Because I don't think of LA as a church thing, but I'm going to tell you two things. Are you saying Joel Osteen type?
Not that big. That's like
super mega.
That's like 20,000 members, 30,000 members. We're talking like Harvest Fellowship or Calvary Chapels.
What is that?
Lou Taylor.
What is that?
What is what?
I've heard these names. Lou Taylor. What is that?
Well, Lou Taylor is Justin Bieber's. She was involved in the Britney Spears.
She's a woman.
Yeah, she's a woman. Her husband is pastor at a North Coast church here. So a popular church, So anything above 2,000 people. So it's more of like a show and performance than a ritualistic Catholic, mass.
So I know nothing about you. I know a little bit about the series, but already here's the thing. So there's a church on La Brea and Hollywood Boulevard. And it's called what?
Oh, I don't know.
But it's like, here's my whole take on these so far. It's these hippies. They get you with hippies, a cute hippie chick, and a free cup of coffee.
Yes.
And they get a lot of transient, hey, bro, hey, just love and peace. And they get into these whole things because LA is home of the runaway, the delusion, and it gets mixed in with super talented people. But there's also a lot of talented people that are homeaways, runaways and all this stuff. So you can get, there's no barrier to entry to get into this city. And it's good and it's bad. So these churches, or these places that people gather, do attract a lot of wayward souls. So what is your series about? Because I do see them, but it's like they act like they're not a church.
Yeah.
But do you ever see the Source documentary? The Source was so do you know the Standard on Sunset Boulevard? Yeah. So there was the only hippie, first vegetarian, sprout-based business. Not even it was just sprouts. Everything was sprouts. It's in Woody. It's in what's the movie with Woody Allen? He won the Best Picture. Annie Hall.
Oh yeah.
So he shot there, and it was called The Source. The guy who owned that had a huge cult, and he lived in the hills. You hear about that, and then you hear about something called Forum.
The Forum? Is it a church?
I went to Forum, and it's like a positive reaffirmation course. Okay. So there's a lot of mix, and obviously Scientology's over there. So this stuff is very fascinating to me because it's a big deal. So go ahead.
Yeah, my rub is the money, right? So most Christians are asked to give. Most churches ask you to give them money to support the institution. And over $1 trillion a year is given to Christian institutions by Christians. So you're talking about an industry bigger than the military, way bigger than Hollywood, and it is totally unregulated.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what's fascinating to me is it's really the sky is the limit in today's economy is how big can you grow your church, Jamie? How charismatic can you be? How many of those wayward souls can you grab? How good can your coffee be? How good can your donuts be? And you create this enterprise off the teachings of a rabbi that just kind of cruised through the hills and, rolled around witnessing to people and changing people's lives. So we've built $1 trillion machine on the back of a guy who literally fought the establishment of his day and fought the religious establishment of his day. And so it's that's the religion business is we've taken this man's teachings, which are beautiful teachings, love your neighbor, repent, and we've taken these beautiful teachings and turned it into something far bigger than Hollywood, far bigger than the military, the U.S. military. And then whenever anybody questions it, they just call you a heretic. And you're like, okay, well, so that's the religion business.
A heretic is someone that goes against like the teachings of God.
Correct. Or manipulates and uses it. Yeah.
So you're talking about the rabbi's Jesus?
The rabbi is Jesus. Yeah.
So are you going after Catholics, Christians, or all church?
All of them.
Okay.
We go after the religious exemptions. So the fun part about America is because of this concept of separation of church and state, and then what the nonprofit sector is and what the government started it as in 1913, religion gets these really special exemptions. So no one can see inside that organization, not the government, not the congregants. So it's literally a perfect opportunity to create to do fraud and abuse your congregation. And so it's all denominations. It's any faith in the U.S. It doesn't matter. They all play by the same rules. And so we look at the rule book and we're like, what's wrong with the rule book? It's broken.
Wait, so why were you interested in this?
That's a good question. You weren't touched as a kid.
No.
I wasn't touched as a kid.
No.
But my youth pastor, who was my junior high pastor, became my high school pastor. He's being groomed to take over this mega church I was going to down in San Diego. All of a sudden, he gets arrested for sexually abusing his adopted children.
Ugh.
And I was like, what? Like, that was strike one. Strike two, for me, was one of my mentors who I respected so much, passed away suddenly. And so I raised some money for his wife, and I just gave her a bag of cash. And as I was giving her this bag of cash, some of the church leadership was like, let us take that and we'll distribute it for her. And I was like, no, you're not going to touch this. This is a gift from all these people. Get away. Mm-hmm. And so it really made me question this like love of money that I felt religious leaders in the U.S. have. And then at the same time, pre-Chicks Dig Gay, guys, I was traveling 9 months a year around the world shooting travel TV shows. So I directed a show on Fuel TV, which was a Fox affiliate before it became like an MMA deal. And so I would travel all over the world for surfing and snowboarding, and we'd go to these really remote, developing nations, Honduras, Mexico, Colombia, Argentina, Peru, you name it, Indonesia. I've been there. And so I would always go to churches because I was so interested in seeing the church around the world. And in these developing nations, they never asked for money, which was really bizarre to me. And it was really simple. Sometimes it was a tin roof with no walls and just, wood trunks holding up these tin roofs. And I would sit and, worship with these people. And I'm like, I feel God here. Like, this is a community that is searching for their creator. And then I'd come back into my mega church and I'd sit down, and every other sermon was about money. And, you need to give more. You need to give more. And so those three things are what really made me go, okay, the system needs to be explored here in the U.S. And it's like your sinkhole or your well. As soon as you go down that and stick your head into it, it's deep. It's a rabbit hole. And so I've been working on this show now 15 years.
This is your show?
Mm-hmm. This is my show, yeah.
How many seasons have you done?
We're shooting season 2 right now. So season 1 is 7 episodes. Season 2 is 4.
For 15 years you've been researching
it, yeah.
And then when did you start shooting it?
We started shooting it in 2021.
2021.
So it took 3 years to shoot.
And Is it on Amazon Prime?
It's on Amazon. It's on Apple TV and YouTube Movies.
Okay. And were you Emmy nominated for this? You were twice nominated.
No, when I was a kid, when I was younger, the show on Fuel TV.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you know it's $1 trillion business?
Just from we work with Harvard statisticians, so they track national and global religion. So they're statisticians that just track donations and generosity globally.
What have you found out so far in this business, the dirtiness of it? Is it mostly dirty?
I would say it's mostly corrupted.
Which is dirty, yeah.
So, when you look at Christ's teachings in Matthew 25:31, he teaches.
Are you a super religious head?
I love Christ. I would consider myself a Christ follower, 100%.
So don't take this the wrong way. The term is Jesus freak. Would you say that? And did you jump into that? Were you like a normal dude that played video games and surfed? And,
100%, yeah.
Went out with girls, and then did you have an awakening, or have you always been into this?
I had an awakening for sure.
Okay. At what age?
When my daughter was born.
Your daughter was born. Okay, so
as soon as she came into life, I'm like, as soon as she came out, I was like, this is my purpose, is to build a better world for her.
Do you curse?
I do, yeah.
Do you drink beer?
Oh, yeah.
Do you smoke marijuana?
No.
Okay.
Weed never did anything for me, but
because I'm testing your level of where you're at.
Yeah.
Because, okay, so, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but there's different people.
100%.
Are you a person that goes like, listen, if I ask you what time it is, like ask me what time it is.
What time is it?
And I say 11:45, and then you say thank you, and I say, well, Jesus valued time. Like you know how those people. Yeah. You're not one of those.
No, I'm not one of those.
Okay.
I'm not a Bible thumper, is what you're probably referring to.
Possibly, yes. Yeah. Okay.
Where you use the scriptures as like a cudgel to. Yeah.
So you're a normal dude who grew up in Christianity.
In Christianity, yeah.
All your whole life.
Whole life.
Public school.
Public school, yeah.
And what's the difference between Christianity and Catholicism?
It's the same thing. It's different denominations. Catholicism is Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a denomination of Christianity, and Catholics. I'll tip my hat to your tribe, or the tribe you were raised in. Catholics will say they're the original true church.
Yeah, and the Jews will say this, and Muslims say that. Yeah. So it's all, Okay, so I'm going to ask you some questions as I get into this. So I think religion, organized religion, everything you're saying is there's a lot of interesting stuff here. So, for instance, as someone that runs if I were just to do this full time, right, this pod, what you're seeing, right, I do have to rely on, I just don't have any sponsors or anything. I'm just relying on the views, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still not making money.
Mm-hmm.
So if I do have super fans that are into my messaging, I do have to get money from them.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it's, clean money. I'm not doing anything bad, which I don't think I am.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's bad that churches ask for money, because it is a way to keep the whole thing going. But I think there's a lot of theft? Of course.
Yeah, and I want to clarify, I don't think it's bad that churches ask for money either.
Mm.
The model itself is not bad. It's the legal architecture around it that almost incubates abuse inside the system.
So abuse, you mean starting with financial abuse?
Financial abuse.
So tell me how that works.
So Jamie, if you've got a church right here on Sunset and you're a super popular, charismatic guy, and you've got 5,000 people coming in, and each of them give you $100 a week, you're looking at $500,000 a week you're generating, and they don't need to know where that $500,000 goes. The government doesn't know where that $500,000 goes. Your staff doesn't know or doesn't need to know where that $500,000 goes. So you can just start accumulating $500,000 a week. That's $2 million a month. That's $24 million a year. And all of a sudden you're running a very big business, and there's no external accountability or pressures to keep you in line. And then layer on top of that, Jamie, you get to say, God told me this is what I need to do. Then all of a sudden you're technically like a monarch. You have full monarchical power of your system, your congregation, and the wealth. And so that's the rub, is the legal architecture in America for religions and for religious institutions is corrupting, like to the core of the machine, if that makes sense. I don't care if you make $24 million a year, Jamie, through a church. The church needs to operate, and if people like to come, great. But should Jamie have unilateral control of that 24 million without anybody saying, hey, what are you doing with it? You know?
So how do you get to start a church?
Oh, you can do it right now. All you need to say is, I'm a church. I want to start a church. This is what's so crazy. So if you want to start a nonprofit, if you want to help the homeless, you have to file with the government and request tax exemption. If you say you're starting a church, you don't even have to ask the government because of separation of church and state. You can walk down, you have to file with the state and say, hey, I'm starting an entity. And then you can go to your bank and get an EIN you go to the government, get an EIN, you can open a bank account and poof, you can start taking money. The federal government doesn't even need to know you exist as a church.
So, wait a second. Because I've heard of this. By the way, the church I was thinking about is Mosaic.
Oh, a Mosaic. I have heard of Mosaic. Okay.
And there's a lot of like young, beautiful people that go there and they have coffee and they play the guitar and it looks a little crunchy, if you know what that term means, like Portlandy.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. I can say, hey, I'm starting, Jamba. Like my nickname.
Church of Jamba.
Church of Jamba. Mm-hmm. And so people come in and give me money. And for that, I don't have to give them anything.
No.
I could just start speaking, a bunch of like stuff that sounds religious. Mm-hmm. And that money comes in. And so I literally just go to the bank, say I'm starting a Church of Jamba, get my EIN number, mm-hmm. which is another way to say corporation. Mm-hmm. And boom, I'm in business.
Yep. You just file with the state, get your corporate documents, and you're incorporated. You get your EIN and open that bank account so you can drop off your $500,000 a week, and you're good to go.
And I'm never taxed.
Never taxed.
Is that in California or across all of America?
All of America. No church is taxed. No religious institution is taxed.
My gosh.
Well, here's where it gets fun,
crazy.
Jamie. Here's where it gets fun, right? So you have this great podcast set up. Mm-hmm. Like, is this a business or is this did you start an LLC behind this, or how did you structure it, or is it just?
It goes in my other business, but eventually when it starts doing well, I'll have to do all that.
Okay, so here's what's cool. You're gonna start your church, right? And we'll call it, what was it?
Jamba.
We got the Church of Jamba, and all of a sudden your podcast starts popping, mm-hmm. and so you've started a for-profit venture over here. That's we'll call it. Julian Swallow's podcasts.
Okay.
Right? It's, Judge Julian Swallow.
Just call it Hate to Break It to You.
Oh, there we go. Hate to break it to you. Even better. Oh, and so now your church can actually acquire your podcast and bring it under its wings. And now your podcast is a church technically.
No.
Yeah. And then guess what? You also have an investment fund called Jamie's Investments. And this for-profit investment fund is now part of the church as well. So you can take an investment fund. This is what the LDS church has done, the Mormon church. And you bring this investment fund under your church's umbrella, and now that investment fund is a church.
A church or protected by the church?
It becomes what's called an auxiliary. So it's another business that's brought under the umbrella. So these other businesses now get the same religious benefits as your church. It's so dirty.
Dude, that's insane.
Yeah. And so what's happened in the last 30 years is businessmen and women have realized that the church, religious institutions, is the perfect corporate structure to do whatever you want. So you have conglomerates now being pulled together. The LDS church, they have $300 billion in investments, and it's a church. They're the second largest private landowner in the U.S., and it's all a church.
So what's some of their investments?
Pharmaceuticals, Northrop Grumman, literal defense companies.
LDS, Latter-day Saints.
Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
So on Santa Monica and Overland, that big, beautiful piece of land, mm-hmm. you know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. With that golden angel with the trumpet. Yep. Is that the Mormons of LA?
Mormons, yeah.
The biggest piece of property on the west side, mm-hmm. literally.
Yeah.
And it's most absolutely beautiful. Mm-hmm. They're connected to Utah?
They're connected to Utah, yeah.
And so all Mormons that live in LA go there.
No, well, they'll go Mormons in LA. The LDS church is structured pretty interesting. So they'll have their temples where a lot of their ceremonial and ritual, whatever you want to call them, ritually significant actions take place. And then they have wards. And so think of these as smaller, kind of more congregational buildings where everybody that lives in a certain radius goes to that ward. And so Utah is kind of just like the mothership for Salt Lake is the mothership for the LDS church. But yeah, you don't travel to Utah you can, but you don't travel to Utah to worship if you're a member.
But so let's talk about Mormons for a minute. So you got these Utah people, and I've shot out there a few times, and they're very healthy, super healthy. They don't curse. I don't believe they drink.
No.
And they come off as pious individuals. And they're super athletic because that's like, you got to put your energy somewhere. So they put it into athlete. But there's also this really freaky side, correct? And they don't want to admit it, but they're being exposed.
They're being exposed, yeah.
But they're a bunch of freaks. Kinky freaks.
Well, yeah, there's this joke called soaking. Have you ever heard of this?
I want to say I think I know what that is.
So it's like two Mormons will have sex, but they'll have sex, but they won't move. And then someone underneath the bed will shake the bed for them.
No.
Yeah, it's called soaking.
No.
Yeah.
No.
If that's what you were referring to, I don't know.
No. Well, no, I'm going to get to what I was referring to. I thought you would know this. Wait a minute.
Yeah, it's called soaking. Is what all the kids
Wait
are
a
doing.
minute.
And then
So it's like they interlock body parts.
Yeah.
And they don't move, so it's like they're not doing it. And then someone pushes the bed.
Yes, correct.
And somehow in their demented belief system.
Well, I would just say in their demented reason and rationale for excuses, they didn't have sex.
Because they're not moving,
yes.
Even though their body parts are interlocked.
Yes, yeah. And
they're soaking as the body fluids.
Yes, it's called soaking, yeah.
It's the same as like the Catholic girl that takes it up in the keister because she says, I'm still a virgin.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, this is demented. So hold on a second. What I meant to say is because of all of these Mormon shows, there's all these like Real Housewives and stuff, and the chick was like hitting the dude with a chair, and so they're always act like they're pious individuals, and they look clean and healthy. I just wish they would go, but we're a little psycho.
Yeah.
So they are a little psycho.
They're a little unique for sure.
Why are you being so politically correct?
Yeah, they're wild. Like half my extended family was raised LDS. My mom
Jesus!
Was raised
so
LDS.
This hits home at you.
Well, not really, because most of them have left the church, which is a fascinating. It's really interesting that the LDS church is hemorrhaging members. They won't admit it.
What does that even mean? Latter-day Saints? Does that mean like today's saints?
In the latter days, the Bible talks about the latter days a lot, and so just like the Catholic Church believes they're the one true church, the LDS believe they're the one true church.
I want to go back to you, but just so you understand my take on this stuff, is that so I was raised a Catholic, right? My mother was like, "Yes, Father Murphy, God bless you, Father Murphy, Jesus Christ," like super like that, Irish, all that stuff. And my whole neighborhood was like that, like Italians, Koreans, black. I was more black with more Baptists. We had some black Catholics and Irish. So, but they were called something called a Saturday Catholic, right? So when the Saturday church came on Saturday night, 5:15, you could go to that, and it would be flooded with people. I'll never forget. It was '86, the Mets against the Red Sox, and I'm like, this is so packed. Why is it so packed on Saturday? And Jack, who was like our assistant baseball coach, goes, because everyone can go to church, they can go watch the World Series and get hammered and have to get up the next day. So they already did their repentance on Saturday night. And I'm like, but that's God wants you to go Sunday. He's like, well, they're doing it Saturday. So it was like, that's when I started the cracks for me before that point. Of like, it's just a convenience to go and worship so you can get wasted and bar fight, your favorite team or whatever. So that was already like, there's a lot of illusions with religion that are, I don't agree with because it's religion.
Correct.
And so let me just see if we're on the same page. The simple terms of do unto others as thou will do unto you. Do you agree with that?
100%.
Agreed, right? I don't want to be punched in the face.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm certainly not going to punch you in the face.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to expect you're going to hit me right back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't want to steal $100 from you because I expect you to do it. So, okay, we're on the same page there. And I think the 10 Commandments are pretty ironclad.
I agree.
If I can remember them all. But, like, don't steal, don't kill, don't, try to get with your neighbor's wives. Basic good premises.
Mm-hmm.
But from those few tenements, the 10 and the 1 of just doing, everything's been corrupted, correct?
In some way, shape, or form, yeah. And I would say, like, I want to add one thing for Christians, because Catholics, non-denominational Christians, Baptists, Methodists, you name it, they all believe that Christ is God incarnate, right? So if you believe that, what Christ added to that was in Matthew 25, he said, feed the poor, the hungry, the naked, visit the prisoner, the sojourner, the sick. So he called out to his specific people and he said, help the marginalized. So I want to add that on top, right? You got the 10 Commandments, love your neighbor as yourself, and then help the marginalized. So that, I think, is the bedrock of Christianity. And then James, Jesus' brother, when he's asked what religion is, he just says pure and undefiled religion is to help the orphaned and widowed in their distress, and then don't be blemished by the world. So don't become a POS. And it's like, those tenets are really simple and straightforward. And what you and I think, would agree with is mankind kind of builds systems on top of all of this I would say, for power and control. But Christ was never about power and control.
So was Jesus Christ, in your opinion, a real person?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
So he was a real guy.
All historians, 99.9% of historians will say, yes, there was a man named Christ who was crucified around 2,000 years ago.
Was he born of a virgin?
The faith says that he was, yes.
Was he the son of the creator of all of this?
That I firmly believe, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, he die on the cross?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Was the Garden of Eden real?
I believe it was. This is where it gets fun. You can read we're going to go down some rabbit holes. So in the Catholic Bible, there's a set of additional books that aren't.
I couldn't even tell you I've read 3 pages of the Bible. I don't even know if I've read 2 columns.
Dude,
I can't.
Okay, do you like Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, but I never read it.
Yeah,
I can barely read a Fearless Flyer at Trader Joe's.
Okay. Then how do you know the deals you're going to get?
I just look at the little tag and I just say, tell me what this is. But so I'm not a big reader. I can read. I like TV.
But so the greatest, like all the greatest, so you know Lawrence Bender. You know the great heavy hitters in Hollywood.
Of course.
All of the greatest script writers and directors look to the Bible because the Bible's story arcs are complete. Like, it is the most complete story ever written. So Lord of the Rings, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Star Wars, all these epic movies and trilogies are based off the arc of creation and fall and then redemption. The Death Star, that's literally named Death, which so creation, death, and resurrection is the pattern, the biblical pattern. And so the greatest script writers in all of Hollywood use that as the kind of the trend, what do you call it when you sketch over something, when you're looking at it, and they're using the scriptural arc of Christ in creation for their narratives. And that's what wins all the Oscars.
What about Joseph Campbell?
Which one? Sorry, I know a couple different.
Joseph Campbell was a person that everyone said they used. There's a book called The 36 Plots. I don't know if it was he wrote that, but it's basically there's 3 conflicts in all of literature, which is man versus man, man versus himself, and man versus nature. So you can put those tenements against any form of fiction, and you'll see those are the basic things. Joseph Campbell, I believe, broke down something called the 36 Plots, and basically everything is a offshoot of that. So I did hear, but he might have also gotten it from the Bible. I've heard some of the Bible stuff, but I also heard it was him. Obviously, the Bible's before him.
Yeah, so I'd be interested to know, because like man versus nature, there's no spiritual element to that, and like all the greatest, like let's take Star Wars.
Man versus nature is spiritual.
Is it? How?
All right, you're a surfer.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Big Wednesday.
Yeah. I like Big Wednesday, but that's me battling nature.
That's man versus nature.
Yeah, but there's no evil in it.
The wave could kill you.
Well, that's just adventure.
I would say you got to live. It's survival. Nature can kill you. That's scary. You think that's adventurous.
Yeah.
If I go to a Red Bull guy and I go to Travis Pastrana and say jump out of this without a parachute, that's man versus nature.
Yeah.
Or himself. But if he dies, you're saying that's adventurous.
For sure.
I know, but it's death.
Yeah.
So that's one of the, I don't know. Does it make sense? Like,
it does for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would just
call death as venture.
I love reading, so I'll read Joseph Campbell's book.
You just look him up.
Yeah.
He's that's I'm not sure exactly, but I think that's what he was known for.
Okay.
But so is the Bible real?
The Bible is, and so most historians, even historians that push back on the spirit, on the deification of Christ, will say the Bible is a historical book, and atheist historians use it to understand Rome, to understand the history of cultures at that time, especially polytheistic cultures.
Mm-hmm.
So the Bible is the greatest history book ever written. It supersedes Islam. It supersedes it's the largest collection of works for the history of humanity. So you talk about the Garden of Eden. The Garden of Eden was whether that be metaphorical or physical, I firmly believe there was a Garden of Eden.
So let's talk about that for a second, and I'll go back to your, because I like to get your philosophy. So the Garden of Eden, if you're saying is actually real, and it was just a garden that God put this beautiful thing, and he said to the guy, you can have whatever you want. And he did. And then the guy got lonely, Adam, and then he created the woman from his rib. So, and then there was a snake. And the snake represents Satan, correct? So you're saying that actually really could have happened.
Sure. But it could also be, this is where there's a great group. So I've gotten to sit down with theoretical physicists and theologians at Oxford and Notre Dame, in the religion business. I sit down with the greatest minds in the world, and they're all Christians, but they're part of a group called Biologos, and they think outside of how when I read the Bible, there was a strict garden between like these geographical markers. And what happens if all of that is the oral history of humanity, and how, so let's take the Big Bang. I had this conversation with a group of individuals the other night. I'm like, can a Christian believe in the Big Bang? And they're like, no. And I'm like, well, really? Like, let's just throw an idea out there.
Why? What's wrong with that? The Big Bang for a Christian?
Well, because then it questions their belief, or it questions the belief of, hey, we were created. Because
what do Christians believe? I really don't. Yeah.
They believe that God created everything in 7 days. Well, there's literalists that believe the earth was created in 7 days. But here's the thing with Biologos and these brilliant men and women. Well, the Bible also says a year to man is 1,000 years to God, and vice versa. If this God, and this is where what season 1 took me to. Jamie, do you believe we're created, or are we just chance?
I would have said chance, but no way. Right now, we are 100% created.
That is the perfect place. That is the perfect place to be, because then what you can do is you say, okay, why would we be created? Or what created us and why? And that's such a fun question to ask.
I mean, that's the fundamental question of life. But I'm a big believer of we're in a matrix. I could tell you thing after thing after thing that is not a coincidence. There's no coincidences. That's done. I will argue with that.
Yeah.
So, here's a little one. The guy that you saw that's producing this pod, you know, I have my problem with my well. So we've been researching all these pictures. And so down the street is where like a well was. And we were talking about, you know, where that could be the big well. And then there's offshoots of little wells, and my house might have a little well. And we're talking about that. And then a rap song came on that I pushed a button to. And then we're talking about like top 10 spitters, you know, the term, like who can really rhyme. And I said, you know, Biggie's top 10. And he's like, well, he's dropped a few places. I'm like, no, Biggie's top 5. Now, what does that have to do with what you're saying? Where we were talking about the well is where Biggie got shot.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That shit happens to me once a day, every day. Yeah. And I can give you an example, Fridays, Thursdays. So I'm a big believer in like, beep, AI, beep, like someone ran this. Is there a man in the sky? Potentially. That's probably another dimension. Is it alien? I don't know. I can't say what it is, and you'll have to push back and tell me. But evil is real. I believe the world is evil and that we find good in it because, you know, the news doesn't start with, today there was a bake sale and everyone it was free. And a nerd asked out a beautiful girl and they hung out. And a guy went to a job and made an extra $10,000. It's never that. It's dark killing. Yeah. So there's a lot of people that argue back with that. And they say, no, this is Corey Feldman will say, this is God's planet and we fight evil, but it's mostly good. And I think I want to believe that. You know what I'm saying? So this is a fundamental question. But do I believe there's some crazy scientific ultra dimension alien. I don't know how to describe it, but I used to think that I had free will. But I don't anymore. I think I'm a sim character.
That's a lot to unpack.
Go slow.
So you've got entropy.
What does that mean?
Basically everything decays. And so we live in a state of decay. Yeah. Like I was driving with my wife through LA and I'm like, man, this city's only like 120 years old, really. And I'm like, just look at the decay.
It's coming around. It's going through a rough patch right now, in my opinion.
Yeah, but so the question was about Europe because I'm like, you go to Europe and I'll walk through a city that's 1,000 years old and there's just the buildings are built to last a century and millennia. You know, I'm like, how did America go wrong, so to speak? When you look at Europe, I'm like these buildings in the city and the layout and the aquifers are meant to last hundreds of years. And then in America, we just build the build so quick and we don't think about the future. So LA is a perfect example of entropy, just constant decay. Everything in the universe is in a state of decay.
Yes, I will push back though that downtown LA is very well constructed.
Okay. Well,
there's a lot of old buildings and Hollywood Boulevard. Yeah. But I understand what you're saying.
But so
it's a lot of bullshit prefab.
And so I actually agree with you that, and that's a side note, just like in regards to humanity and how we focus, you know, on beautiful builds that last centuries as opposed to just let's pop things out as quick as possible for profit. But what pushes against entropy? And
what pushes against decay?
Or against evil? Like I would argue that decay is some form of evil.
Yeah, it's rotting.
It's rotting. And so, but you push against entropy. I do. We push against it, and that's the good. That's the light in everything.
Yeah, if I don't get up and if I don't do a pull-up downstairs, I'm going to entropy.
Entropy, yeah.
Yeah. But by pulling up, it's difficult, but I will get a muscle.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is good for me.
But that's the beauty of the world we live in is we live in a state of decay, but then there's this yin and yang, there's this dark and light, which is every story arc of every movie ever made, right? It's baked into the DNA of you and I. And so when you go back to Joseph Campbell, you said, oh, man versus nature. It's a spiritual realm. Yeah. And so that's why I was like, I feel like Joseph Campbell missed, if there's no spiritual
I don't know enough, but but what you just said is just simple to say, is as above, so below.
Yeah. Yeah. And it light and dark, that's it.
100%.
And so when you look at the scriptures, this is why the Bible's so fascinating, is Christ always talked about light and dark, good and evil. Like, you be the light in this darkness. And so that's what you're saying is, I agree with you that the world it's evil, and we push against evil with good.
Yeah.
As opposed to everything's good and just a little bit of evil.
People say I'm like one of the, like, I have a light about me, and I believe I do.
Yeah.
And I want to be like that, but I'm fortunate because I do have a good outlook. I mean, but I'm also aware, but, like, it's basically simple. Like, everything in this world is designed to suck you dry. You know, like, you don't really have to work. Have you ever driven through Bakersfield? There's enough land that you could get in 2 acres, and we could teach people how to be sustainable, where they could literally live and survive. But that wouldn't serve the purpose of the system of this stuff. Sure, do I love Chipotle and AI and all of this stuff, but there's a lot of slaves on this planet. And there's a lot of, you know, there's only a few main characters, and there's a lot of NPCs, you know that term. So there's a lot of people that are being taken advantage of. There's a lot of people in the dark. There's a lot of people that aren't even aware of it. So when you ask me about this stuff, I've had too much crazy things in my life to think that when I was, 7 years old, when I was watching Saturday Night Live, which is too old of a show for a 7-year-old to watch, and they would go, land shark. Remember that bit?
Yeah.
Land shark. And I would go to school and go, land shark. My other friend would go, land shark. Or if I saw John Ritter go, I got Spurs and Three's Company, I said, I'm going to do that. I don't know how, but it was in my mind. And I have pictures in the other room with me and John Ritter, and I auditioned for SNL twice. How does that happen?
Yeah.
I just led to it. So, like, you talk about belief and religion. I went a normal upbringing, but I was like pulled, this gravitational force. Just
so
like,
you were pulled.
Yeah, I was pulled for sure.
You weren't pulling on something. It was pulling you.
I always tell people, if you want to act, people are like, how you act, you do comedy and stuff. I go, you'll never act. You will never do comedy. You will never play music. It does you. You cannot get up. John Lennon got woken up in the middle of the night to write Imagine. He kept trying to go to sleep, and he couldn't go to sleep.
Yeah.
So these are what I believe works of art come through us, and these divine things, which is also spiritual.
Yeah.
So in a nutshell, there's a big difference between. I'm not the guy to ask with all this stuff, because I'm trying to say it in a normal way, but it's like I'm a little crazy right now. Like, I start believing, like, the planets. I believe in that stuff. I believe in aliens. I do believe Christ. Think of the world as Fortnite. You know anything about that game?
A little bit. My nephews tell me all about it.
Okay, well, there's something in the game where you can wear skins, and your player can be put on a thing. I think of Christ as just another form of amazing. He's just another skin, like an IP. Like Ghostface would be a character.
Yeah.
Mario Kart. And Christ is the most popular part of intellectual property, if you will. And so I hate to break this down in a simple way, but it's like we have so many different influences, and people choose which character they are rolling with. And then GTA 5 is what we're living in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see the analogy and what you're trying to draw for sure.
And if you play the video games and talk to enough people, the way shit is designed, it feels like that. So I'm not like, I just think that this is some kind of experiment.
I would kind of agree with you on the experimental
side. I don't know what God is.
Well, I would say,
And I get confused. Is Jesus God? Is God God? And then Jesus is God. Point two. Is Satan the devil? Who's Lucifer? Who's Beelzebub? Who's Baal? You know, there's like 6 different architects. Who's Black Phillip? They could say that's also Satan. There's many levels to this stuff.
Yeah. Well, I would say, okay, the biblical story is Jehovah, Yahweh, the creator.
Who is Jehovah?
Jehovah is God. It's Adonai.
Okay, but then that goes to Jehovah Witnesses.
Yeah.
But that's totally different than when I was raised.
For sure.
They were annoying people that came to your door, correct?
Correct.
So how is that anything like Jesus?
Because that is a tradition of man. That's not Jesus.
Meaning men added their BS.
We added our BS to it.
Okay, gotcha.
There's 44,000 denominations, or like, let's call them flavors, ice cream flavors of Christianity.
Okay.
Christ he's got one message. And all of a sudden we've turned it into 44,000 different versions. Christianity
means of Christ. Yeah. Like Christ is the main word.
Christ follower.
Okay, got it.
And those early quote unquote Christians they said we follow the way. That's it. We're going to follow the way of Jesus. That's literally what they called it. And they were murdered. They were sawn in half. They were like, Rome did not like them. It was a brutal life choice. And so here's one of my mentors, his name's Chris Freehill, brilliant man. And he goes, Nathan, did Jesus come to make bad people good?
Did Jesus come to make bad people good?
This goes back to your slave comment.
I think Jesus kind of came just to say, hey, this is what's up.
He came, so my mentor always says he came to make dead people alive.
Yeah, wake people up. You could argue that.
He's not making bad people good. He's making dead people alive. He's making people see their place in all of this system, and you see your place in the world. I firmly believe, based on our conversation, like you said, you know, some people are just NPCs. Most people are, sadly, and we get sucked into that system to where we're just a non-playable character, and we're just we're a slave to the system, you know? And this goes back to death too. This is why adventure, Travis likes to jump out of planes, right? I like to swim in I used to like to swim in the heaviest waves in the world, because the Bible says the fear of death is slavery.
That's a deeper conversation, which I firmly believe that.
Yeah. So it's like, we're alive. Like I see it in you. You're alive. You want to experience, you want to create, you want to be used. Right? You don't want to be dead. You want to be alive. And when you look at Christ in the Bible, it pushes against, so let's talk about entropy in like humanity. Everything in my being says I need to acquire wealth. I need to build safety. I need to build a safety net, a retirement plan. I need to impress my friends and my parents and my girlfriend or my wife or my husband or whatever. And we build this facade, this world around us that really doesn't mean anything outside of I'm trying to build my own self-worth. Capitalism is that, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but Christ said, do the polar opposite. Give to the poor and the needy. Sacrifice to the point where you have nothing left. Like, push against the very innate nature of our selfish desires, and that's what's going to change the world. And that's what what the way followers did, is they went into Rome, and as some were being killed and martyred, they were picking up the orphans, because back in the day, if Jamie, if you knocked up your wife and you couldn't afford the baby, you just throw it on the street. There was no value to that life, whereas we have value to the life.
When was this?
This is in Rome. This is when Christ was around. Elderly, like if you couldn't afford to help your parents, they were pushed out on the street. But so it was these Christians, these early way followers that were like, we'll take these babies in, we'll help these elderly. Like we share everything. Like I don't need wealth. And what happened was, all the Romans were like, I'd rather actually hang out with these guys because they seem cooler than the dudes in the Colosseum, like laughing at Christians being torn apart by wolves for sport. You know, so Christians, Christ called us to live a very dangerous, different life than your average person. And it means I don't want to be dead. I'm not a part of the system. I'm a part of a totally separate system, and I'm alive. And if I can... And I think you get that same feeling jumping out of a plane. I bet you Travis gets that same feeling. And I like same feeling swimming in heavy waves.
Yeah, but I don't want to put my life at risk alive to me is many different ways.
Yeah. So dead and alive is a spiritual significance. It's an awakening of you.
Some people can jump out of a plane and they do that before they would stand in front of an audience with a microphone.
Well, and
that's what I do all the time.
I was going to say that's the same type of thing.
Yeah.
You step out into the light and you say, I'm here.
I do something that's so scary to most people that I get tired when I go on stage. I'm like, I'll just look at them and not say anything for a minute. I don't even want to be here. Where people would freak out.
Yeah.
But I've been doing it for 30 years. So it looks like you've been surfing for 30 years. So it's just a different thing. But so obviously I had a guy on from Scientology, how he broke that down and how he disassembled that. So you're a big guy that is exposing the BS of organized religion. So like someone like Joel Osteen, because I just say his name, I know nothing about him other than he's got a whole big church.
Yeah.
What's his deal?
His deal is he was a TV producer.
Okay. This is so funny, man.
Yeah, his dad ran Lakewood Church, big church in Texas, and his dad passed away. And so churches are kind of dynasties for a lot of families. So if I was a successful pastor and I was kind of playing the game, I would probably bring one of my sons in to run it behind me. I would teach them how to do it. I'd teach them the business model. I'd teach them how to ask for money. And so Joel just took over the church from his father. And so naturally, Joel's skill set is I'm a TV producer. So what am I going to do with this church? I'm going to turn it into a TV studio, basically.
And so he got this where the Rockets played, and he built up this congregation.
Yeah.
He gets money all the time. And he plays it on what? Local TV?
Well, there's like TBN, the Trinity Broadcast Network. There's Daystar. There's all sorts of Christian networks that you basically buy airtime from, which is hilarious. And so if I have a good church, and this is how a lot of these TV guys build their brands, ready? If I have a big church, okay, let's take your church. Church of Jambo.
Church of Jamba.
Jamba. And you're making $24 million a year. And I'm Daystar. Okay, I'm a Christian TV network here. I own a bunch of satellites, so you can buy some airtime. I'm gonna sell you for $250,000 a month, an hour slot 2 times a week, and you're gonna go, well, man, I'm gonna spread my gospel. So you know what? That's worth it. I'm gonna take $250,000 of my donations that I bring in, and buy airtime with it, and that's what all these guys have done. So all these big TV guys, they pay to be on TV. They're not being paid to be on TV.
What's Daystar?
Daystar is a TV network.
And it comes on cable?
It's on cable, yeah.
So like on the carriage, like CNN?
Yeah, like if you're
How high up is it?
In the hundreds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's watching this stuff?
Your grandma, my
Dead.
grandpa. Okay,
God rest her soul.
The sad part is, so my grandma's passed away as well, but guess what?
God rest her soul.
Everybody that asked her for money, she gave.
So someone in Plano, Texas. I mean, like, I can't see people in New York City watching this.
No. It's
a lot of people in rural areas.
Correct.
And how do they find out about it?
It's just the thing. Like when I would go over to my grandma's, she would have Daystar or TBN on 24 hours a day.
But you're a San Diego, LA guy, which is wild to me.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's you don't realize how prevalent these networks are, especially for the older community. And like Kenneth Copeland, he's a fun one. Have you ever seen that video?
Kenneth Copeland is the guy that goes, and I took that plane.
Yeah, he goes like this.
That guy's great.
That's Kenneth
He's
Copeland.
hilarious character.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a character.
So his shtick was...
I took that plane.
Exactly, in the 70s.
He's a demon? Wait, so talk to me. I'll ask you a question because I got my opinions of him. Go ahead.
So in the 70s, he was a pilot. He actually came to Hollywood. This is funny.
Did.
They're all Hollywood.
Actors.
Yeah, so he came to Hollywood as a musician.
Bomb
Didn't
musicians
do well.
too.
So he loved flying, so he got his pilot's license. He became the pilot for Oral Roberts, who's like the OG big evangelist.
Oral
Roberts, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, good old Oral. I was going to say a joke.
You can do it. Let's see. You got the mask in front of you.
Oh, well, we'll go down that rabbit hole in a minute. But so he learned from Oral Roberts how to basically pull money out of people. And so Kenneth's shtick was he would send mailers out to all the old women in America. So he'd get mailing lists. He'd send all these women, hey, please help me. This is what God's told me I need to do. And all these old women would mail him money back. And and he built a multi-million-dollar church on 1,200 acres, and now he's estimated to be worth $750 million based off of these
Kenneth Copeland,
sweet old ladies sending money. Yeah,
took Oral Roberts' mailing list.
Well, no, he took Oral Roberts' strategy, which is mailing lists.
And then how did he? So he found all these old ladies with disposable income, and he did a mass mailing.
Yep, and he would do mass campaigns, and we have the campaigns. That's what's so cool. In season 1, you see the original mailers from the 1970s.
I gotta watch this.
Yeah.
And so he would mail them out. How old is he now?
Ooh, in his 80s, I think.
Okay, and then he talked about buying Tyler Perry's jet.
Yep, he talked about the jet. Yeah.
So, and he was mad at somebody. So he got all this money. Now, is he married a couple times?
Yep, he's married. I don't know his. I don't know his. I think he's married. His wife's Gloria. I don't know if he ever got divorced. But yeah, his wife's Gloria. He's married.
Scandals?
He's the financial guy. Like he's a prosperity gospel preacher.
What does that mean?
It means, hey, if you give me money, God's gonna bless you.
What? Say that again.
If you, Jamie, give my church money, God's gonna bless you.
Stop right there. So that's called prosperity gospel?
Prosperity gospel.
So the gospel, meaning the word, the speaking is money. Give it to me. And people fall for this shit? How dumb are people?
There's a lot of NPCs.
Hey, give me $100 because God's going to bless you.
Well, because here's the thing. If you say...
If that worked, why isn't the guy at Starbucks doing that?
Because he doesn't have the Bible.
Who just took a crap in front of me.
So this
no, dead serious. Go to Melrose. There's 4 guys out there that should do this.
Like, they should, but they just need to hold the Bible to do it.
And people just believe it because there's a Bible?
And how many pages of the Bible did you say you've read?
Half a column.
Well, so that's the problem is most Christians have never read that book. So they're going to sit down in front of Kenneth Copeland and say, tell me what it says. And he says, it tells you to give me money.
I know, but do you ever heard the term discernment?
The Bible talks a lot about discernment in most
and says what?
It says, Paul goes, I'm looking for a man of discernment among you, and none of you have it. And discernment is a real thing, and most people do not have it.
Dude, I'm looking for tickets. Who's got tickets? You know that scam?
No. Oh, yes. You
know what that means?
Yeah. No.
You go to Lakers, it's game 6, NBA Finals. I'm looking for tickets. That means he's selling tickets. That's the reverse, upside down. So really, he wants you to talk to him when he does. Then he'll sell you the tickets, and that's a con, okay? Coachella just had one of the biggest scams in their whole history of fake tickets. But people wanted to believe that they were going to see Bieber so bad that they bought them. And there's like 10% fraud rate.
Wow. So
what I'm saying is, when people are so tight with their money, they're so scared of everything. Why do they believe this stupidness? A guy says, God told me you're going to get money. That is absolutely fucking retarded. Because I'm going to say it just like that.
If you're holding on to money,
you are fucking retarded.
And you're so afraid of money, and you have a really good con artist saying, hey, I can get you more money. I'll tell you how to do it.
He's a financial predator.
He is, just like a pyramid scheme, just like
but using
multi-level
God.
marketing. Yeah.
That's evil.
Well, it's the most, that is the most evil.
That is evil.
Yeah. I always say, like,
how many people are like this in this game? Fucking shysters.
I will say this, and I say it on every podcast I've ever been on, and pastors rip me to shreds.
Piss me off.
I say everybody who plays this game, any pastor that moves into that space full time for an entire career gets eaten by it, and in some way, shape, or form will start ripping people off.
Dude, this is fucking fascinating to me. So people, these poor old women who work their whole lives, and he's writing these bullshit letters, and they're just giving them the money.
Sending the money in.
So what does this guy preach? What does he
preaches?
Say?
He loves Trump.
I love Trump too.
I'm not right or left, but he'll put Trump on the screen, so he'll catalyze his religious base around Trump.
Was he always a Republican-leaning guy?
He's very conservative. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, very conservative, and so He blends politics and religion, anything to get his audience and constituents riled up. The crazy part is, you'll love this because we're both from LA. The first time I went to his church, Joel Osteen's church is impressive. You walk into there, it's a stadium, tens of thousands of seats. You're like, this is legit. Escalators in the front. You go to Kenneth Copeland's church, it might seat 400 people. And I was like, this is tiny. But what it is it's a production studio. They have 6, solid production cameras pointed at the stage. They've got 2 jib arms. I'm like, you guys just know how to produce TV. And all he's doing is he took the concept of, I'm going to send letters out to everybody, to now I just buy airtime and ask you for my money.
So he goes on, he says stuff in a fire. He's a fascinating character.
He is, for sure.
He's totally charismatic.
Mm-hmm.
Remind me to tell you this about what I think he is. And he's so interesting.
Mm.
So I could see him with those eyes and those big fingers, and he's pointing down the barrel
The big
at you.
fingers.
Yeah, he's a big fat finger, like, God wants you. And so he gets in their mind.
Mm-hmm.
So, and remind me to tell you this. So, $250 a month. Do they make money on the commercials? Do they sell commercials?
I don't know. So like my guess is I don't have the contracts.
And they get an hour a week?
No, I'm saying like, so you might be able to buy 30 minutes, an hour. But what I'm saying is that would be the model.
Do you actually know the numbers?
Not on the airtime buy, but I know all those guys buy that airtime slot because I've talked with the heirs of TBN, their father started. Biggest network in America, Christian network.
And it's called what?
TBN, Trinity Broadcast Network. Do you remember the 405 and 5 split, that weird circular like building that was so bizarre? They just bulldozed it after like 40 or 50 years.
405 and 5 up.
Irvine area.
Oh, that's all the way down there.
Yeah.
Kind of.
But it was this weird, it looked like some Roman architecture
No. There's a white, it looks like there's a church. Do you know that church off the 405?
Oh, yeah, the Crystal Cathedral.
That's insane. Yeah. It's not that.
Yeah, okay. No, it's not that, no.
And then there's the Black Cube.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Okay, so this is another one of these.
That was their headquarters, and it was just opulent and gross.
They're from here?
They're from here, yeah.
And you know the heirs?
I know one of the 2 sons that took it over, yeah.
And how much is it worth?
Oh, I don't know now. It's a church. So this is the fun part. Ready? Oh, this is where it gets even better. Remember, I talked about you could start your Church of Jamba and then bring your investment fund off underneath and all that. You can also bring a TV network in underneath.
And that's all a write. So everything's a write-off.
Everything's a write-off, but then here's the kicker. It's not just a write-off. You don't have to present your financials to the government or anyone. So your TV
Is your life a write-off if you're in it? Like, do these people pay any taxes?
They'll pay tax on their income. So, here's the deal. Ready? You're going to run the Church of Jamba. You got $24 million in the account. You're only going to take a $100,000 salary. So you'll pay tax on your $100,000 salary.
Yeah. So it's called zeroing it out.
Yeah, 100%.
So if I make $100,000 this year, $1 million this year from acting and stand up in the pod, my accountant at the end of the year tries to zero everything out and then say that I only made $13,000.
Yep. Yeah.
So the churches you're making it seem like the churches do even more than that.
They don't have to even zero out their accounts because the church never pays taxes.
So they have to get as much of their personal life into the church, and if they buy a Lamborghini, it's a church vehicle.
I don't know about, cars would be a church vehicle.
And if they buy this house, it's a place of worship.
Well, the private planes are a place of worship.
Which is how?
Because they pray in the tube.
Dude.
Kenneth Copeland prays in the tube in the sky.
That's what Kenneth said.
Yeah.
So you can write off planes?
Not in all states. Some states have finally said, like, planes aren't a house of worship. Your private plane is not a house of worship. But Texas, I believe California, I believe Florida and New York.
What's the best state to start a church?
Texas.
That's why there's so many there. Because
that's why all the mega church guys are there.
Because it's just a very, very, very...
And here's the deal. So Kenneth Copeland also has a 19,000 square foot home.
Okay.
That's owned by the church. And so that's called a parsonage. So there's 2. This is another scam that pastors can take advantage of is in your faith, in Catholicism. There used to be parsonages attached to the church. So that's where clergy would live. Why? Because the church was open 24/7. If people needed prayer, guess what? That pastor, that clergy had to be really close to pray over people, to help people, right? So naturally, we're going to give you a house right next to it. Well, today, there's still that shtick that, hey, you, Jamie, can use the house, the Church of Jamba's house, as your own house. But there's no regulation on what that house can be. So you could build yourself a 19,000 square foot mansion on donors' dimes and say, oh, I'm just living in the parsonage.
Yes, that's insane.
Yeah.
So it's just basically like, oh, I'm here to help my flock. So Kenneth Copeland, I know who that is. What do you think about him as a person?
I give everybody the benefit of the doubt.
Have you met him?
No. I've been close to him. I had his security guards surround me, and they were awesome. It's in the show.
Wait, is that when you got arrested?
No, that was at another church in Texas.
Well, I'll go back to Kenneth for a second, but I want to go back to that first. You were arrested in a church?
I was arrested at a church.
What church?
Fellowship Church in Grapevine, Texas, Dallas.
And why?
Because I asked, so there's another shtick in regards to the real estate side of things. So if you don't want a parsonage, right? Let's say Jamie is tired of living in the 19,000 square foot parsonage. You want to own your own home. So now the church, there's a clause where you can take a tax-free housing allowance. And so the church can pay you for the house you're living in, and you can own that house. So this pastor in particular owns upwards of $18 million in real estate, the one who had me arrested. And I wanted to know his housing allowance because I'm like, hey, are the congregants paying for $18 million worth of real estate that you own? Are they paying the mortgages? And I have, through discovery in a lawsuit, what his housing allowance was in 2005. So he was paying himself $240,000 a year in a tax-free housing allowance in 2005. And so today, I'm like, you've 4 to 5x your real estate portfolio. So I can only assume you probably had to 4 to 5x your monthly housing allowance to fund your beachfront house in Florida now and all that. Mm-hmm. And so I called his lawyer, his general counsel, and this is amazing. Ready? So his church is general counsel. So his church has a full-time lawyer on staff. That lawyer is also the CFO of the church. So you have a lawyer who's the chief finance. Yeah, that's a triple dip. And then there's the best part. He also ordained his lawyer. So the lawyer now became a pastor, and guess what that means? He can take a housing allowance. And so all these guys, they're leeches on this body of believers that want to do good in the world. And these guys are just sucking them dry.
Okay. So why did you get arrested?
So I went on. So I called the lawyer. I said, hey, I'm in town. I emailed them. At this point, I've messaged them and emailed them for almost 2 years saying, hey, I have some questions about this? I have some questions about that. They never responded. So finally I show up in Dallas and I call the lawyer. I call his law firm and I'm like, hey, you know who I am because we've done a bunch of social stuff on you. Like, I'm coming to church on Sunday and because I want answers to this. So I showed up. They had me pegged before I even walked through the front door. They have this huge black security guard, and it's in the show. He literally grabs his ear and starts talking to.
Why did you tell them you were coming?
Because I'm respectful. Like I'm not like a YouTuber who will run down the aisles and make this big scene. I want to talk to leadership.
Okay.
So I'm like, hey, I'm in town. I'm coming to church on Sunday because you haven't talked to me. And so I want them to know what I'm doing. I'm not trying to pull a gotcha moment on anybody. So I show up. I walk in. I know they've seen me right away, and they have a massive security team. And I go into their bookstore, and I want to buy a book. I'm trying to buy a book that this pastor had written, and then a sweatshirt because he also has his own clothing line. So it's just these guys just they have multiple revenue streams that they suck off, and then I have to buy a $5 cup of coffee. Like it's ridiculous at their church. And then they ask,
what's the name of this church?
Fellowship.
Fellowship, okay.
Because it's where you come to fellowship.
Yeah,
Jamie.
Jeez, okay.
And so their head of security comes and approaches me, and I don't lie. And he's like, hey, what's your name? And I'm like, my name's Nathan. And I tell him where I'm from, what I'm doing here. I'm like, my dad lives in Dallas, and I came to visit my dad. And like coming to church.
Does your dad really live there?
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, he really lives there. And so they're like, you need to go. And I'm like, why? I literally bought a sweatshirt and I want to go to service. Like, this is what I do. And they walk me out. And they go, you're going to have to leave the property. And I'm like, why? And they go, it's private property. And this is my favorite line. I go, who owns it? And in the show they go, and I'm like, yeah, see, you don't even know who owns this property. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, but I do. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, you're kicking me off a property that you don't even know who owns it. Mm-hmm. And this is the problem in religious exemptions. There's so much misunderstanding about ownership, about how it's structured, that they kick me off. And I expected that to happen. And so preemptively, I had made some signs that just said, Ed, his name's Ed. So Pastor Ed, what is your housing allowance? And then I had another sign, I think, that read like, what is your salary? All I did, Jamie, is at the end of church coming out, I just walked into the parking lot and I stood in the parking lot with the signs, and they surrounded me with probably close to 15 security guards.
15.
And then they violated my civil rights multiple times, which is awesome. And then
how did they do that?
They had a private security arrest me and put hands on me. They took my private property. They had a private security guard take my phone out of my hand.
That's not legal.
Yeah, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then they had private security hold me while local PD came.
The only people that can do that is local PD, correct? And
correct.
Even if they can do that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And so the crazy part is, since we have private investigators that we work with, they looked up all the permits and security clearances for all the guys on security, and most of them had expired security licenses, so they couldn't even be carrying arms, they couldn't touch me, and they all did it. So the whole thing is a mess. So they arrest me, and it honestly was really beautiful. I was sitting there with their private security, and I got to preach to them. Basically, I was like, guys, look at what you've built. I'm like, you're on the opposite side of the same coin as me. I'm like, I'm trying to bring transparency into this organization that's ripping off its congregation, and you think you're doing what's right too by kicking me off. And I'm like, dude, but look what we've built. I'm like, this is built on one man, and his teachings are about loving your neighbor and the marginalized. And then here you are, you've built a $100 million machine that no one knows where a dollar goes, and the pastor drives a golden Range Rover. Let that sink in.
Is that true?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How old is the guy?
Ooh, probably mid-60s.
Why golden?
Because I don't know. He has multiple. Yeah.
Does he have a bunch of wives?
Just one wife.
What's his name?
Ed Young Jr. Yeah. And so there's he's actually, I would love to ask him about his new development.
Which is what?
On his church, he built a pickleball court for himself inside his church.
Wait. Okay, so you got fascinated by this as a young, coffee air, California, Burbank, San Diego native, surfer, good, curious fella.
Yeah.
This is your backstory, because there's no reason for you to do this.
None.
But you're like, something smells weird here.
Yeah.
So you got into it. You were also doing other TV shows, and you're just like, I could do my own thing.
Yeah.
So now, did you pitch your show to anywhere, or you put it independently on Amazon?
I put it independently on Amazon.
And do people have to buy it?
They have to buy it right now. It's gonna go free in a few months.
And is it popular?
Really popular, yeah,
okay.
With our audience.
I saw some of the Tucker. I mean, it was a huge interview.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you, yeah.
And so was that your biggest interview?
I did Sean Ryan.
Huge.
And I did Tucker.
Huge.
And then I got to do this guy, Jamie
Kennedy.
Like,
huge.
I hate to break it to you. It's probably the biggest podcast I've been on.
Hate to break it to you.
Yeah.
So let's go back. So you have all these guys.
Mm-hmm.
You have all these churches. So Florida's a big place too.
Florida's a big place.
What would you say up in the Panhandle? Because I feel like the people are more gullible there.
Orlando.
Yeah, Orlando.
Tampa.
Yeah.
Really, Orlando and Tampa.
It's crazy because Tampa's pretty smart.
Well, Tampa is where Paula White, Trump's senior spiritual advisor, came from.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then give me the top 5. So Texas, Florida.
Texas, for Texas, Florida, Oklahoma's becoming really popular.
I see that.
New York, and California's got a bunch of bad writers out here.
Wait, New York,
Mm-hmm.
upstate?
Mm-hmm.
What you said? Bad writers?
Well, like bad writers, like big players.
Okay.
You know?
So I'm gonna go a little bit weird here for you.
Let's get weird, bro.
So you've done this stuff before I get there. Have you gotten threats?
Yeah.
What kind of threats?
We had a hit put out on us.
Oh, dude.
But the security team, the individuals that
By a religious group.
By religious groups, yeah. Yeah, but the security detail that was involved in all of that called us, and they're like, hey, like, we're out. People are waking up. Remember, like, Christ came to make dead people alive. And I think people are waking up. It means just, are you asleep or are you awake? And I think I'll call them my fellow brothers and sisters, my fellow Christians, like, they're waking up. And there's a lot of them, 160 million of them in the U.S. And they're starting
What is that, Christians?
Christians. Self-professed Christians. And
But do you only care about Christians?
No, I care about everybody.
How many people in the U.S.? 320?
360, I think, at this point.
So almost half of people are Christians in some form or another.
Yeah.
Like, I don't consider myself Catholic. That's how I was raised, but I consider myself just, I'm a thinker.
Yeah.
Or a questioner.
I like both those.
Yeah. So I want to go back to Kenneth before I do. I got to ask you a question about yourself. So you're married now. You have one child.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how strict are you? Because your child was out of wedlock. Is that a big deal or no?
No, it was the most beautiful. So,
like because as a Catholic, that was like a whole thing.
Yeah, 100%. So, like, I had this discussion with my mom, actually, because, you know, it's like she's very conservative, old school Christian. Yeah.
Okay.
And we got married under God. Like, I had my hand on the Bible because I wanted to do that.
Your wife.
My wife.
This is your first wife.
Yep. This is my first wife. Yeah. But polygamy in Utah is a very real thing.
How is that legal?
Polygamy?
Yeah.
It's not really legal. It's just like kind of on the back burner.
So polygamy is the ability to
have multiple wives.
Okay, so what are the tenements of Mormonism? Simple 5 things.
Oh, I'm not an expert in like the tenets, the sacraments or the backbone.
5 laws of Mormonism.
But they have like they do this thing called baptism for the dead, which is kind of weird, or I think it's weird. But they'd have a kid be baptized in the place of a deceased relative who wasn't technically saved. They believe in the celestial kingdom. So when you die, you get your own planet. And so they,
be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So, they're, very much about, like most Christians believe that when Christ died and hung on the cross and then was resurrected, as the biblical story goes, that was the conclusion to Old Testament prophecy. It concluded in Christ when he dies on the cross. He says, "It is finished," which means the work has been done. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints believe that there's still visions in the current prophet. Like, he is the direct voice of God now for the church. So that's why, like, in Mormonism, years ago, black people, they were far lower than whites. They couldn't, dang it, this is where I need Kathy in here because she was raised Mormon. Black people couldn't get the priesthood. And so there was literally segregation in the church. Mm-hmm. Well, what happens, in the 60s and 70s, you have the full flip of racial discrimination, and equality is a big thing. And so what does the church do? The prophet goes, "Oh yeah, no, now black people can get the priesthood." And so it's that idea that this single man at the head of the LDS church hears from God and will change doctrine based off of cultural shifts.
Wouldn't that be the Pope?
The Pope is similar. The Pope has that. It's an authority. It's something authority. They have that authority too, but the Pope very rarely uses it.
The Pope is the only person on earth that is supposed to represent God. That's what Catholics believe.
The Mormons believe something similar.
But they have their own Pope. Do they have one Pope?
They have one head, but there's it's called a quorum.
Okay.
They have like 72 and then 12 and then the one dude.
So do you think this is odd that we're not supposed to worship, we shall not worship false idols?
100%.
And B, which makes movie stars in Hollywood a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And that no man is God.
Mm-hmm.
And that yet when I was in 10th grade, I worked in the cafeteria of a college called Villanova, and I was treated like a crap because these college rat kids, and I would take their trays and I want to throw them at them. And the current pope went there.
Mm-hmm.
So this pope went to the school where I worked in the cafeteria. Do you think that's a god?
The Pope?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe he's an idol, yeah.
He went to Villanova.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's weird?
I do think that's
so
weird.
You don't think, but there's so many people that will believe that he's a deity, but to me, he's a guy that went to Villanova. Probably didn't put his tray away.
You went to Villanova with the Pope?
No, I worked in the cafeteria.
Okay.
And the college kids were annoying, and I wanted to throw my trays at them because they were rude.
You know who else?
Knows if the Pope?
You know who else thought the
people.
rich?
So I'm saying the God. Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah. I'm like,
yes. What a comparable.
Jesus would be back there washing the trays with you. It's
but I just think it's funny that they can't have these deities on earth, but yet these people are treated like that. So it's a little sus there.
Yeah.
So how can this is where Mormons are just, come on. How can people not go, you're full of shit? Well, let me finish, brother. You can't sit there and fucking go, you can't fuck. I'll try to be cute about it. You can't have sex, or we're going to soak you. So you got Jebediah pushing whatever her name is, and fucking the other guy. Give me some weird Mormon names. Ezekiel.
No, I don't want to use Dallin because I've never met a Dallin until.
So they're pushing up, so they move, so the body parts go.
Yeah.
But then they can have 5 wives?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make sense.
Well,
are you a Mormon, or you said your family?
No, I'm not.
But do you understand that makes, to the common person, that's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
You can't either have sex and be normal or don't. Like, we're raised, okay, whether we believe it or not, we were raised at like, I'm trying not to go off. Do you believe in OnlyFans?
No.
Okay, do you think it's the scourge of humanity?
Yes.
Okay, do you believe that it's a feministic trait?
Like of the movement?
Yes.
Yes.
But do you understand why you and I are probably on the same page about it, and you understand why they do not want us to talk about it, A, because we're not women, B, because we're men and all this stuff. But why OnlyFans is so twisted is because it's basically taking something that is a dark art, which has been around forever. Doesn't mean it's good, but it is. People are going to pay for sex till the end of time. And it's given women the ability to take over that. So they should. And I understand it. They don't want pimps and all this bad stuff. But the problem is it's normalizing darkness. And so we were raised with movies where the woman was worshipped. Cinderella, Snow White. These are pure, Julia Roberts. They all became these wonderful creatures. And now they're saying, be a whore.
Yeah.
And so when you push back on that, our society is upside down. Literally, this is why I'm saying this is darker, because they're normalizing that. And it's like, sure, women have taken control of their bodies, but they commodified their vag. And you're making it normalized. And it's a confusing message how I was raised. I was raised like, get married. I'm not saying I did it. Get married and have a family. One man, one woman. You know what I mean? Harvest the till, and the guy goes out and provides. The guy should provide. If you're married, the guy 100% should provide, and the woman should. But doesn't mean women can't work. But if it were me, because my life is a little crazy, I would like, if I got married, a woman takes care of all the stuff, and I, go out and make the cash. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the way it traditionally was. It's called a trad wife. I'm not saying it has to be that way, but to go out now and have all of these things, I forgot my point. My point was it's backwards. I forgot what am I going to say. Something.
We're talking about LDS.
Well, because it's like, you can't sit there and say, like, having sex is weird or bad and then have 5 wives. That goes against the normal upbringing of basic society principles. Do you agree with that?
I totally agree.
So what's their point behind the 5 wives?
Well, they believe, remember, it goes back to the planet's side of things. The bigger your family, the more real estate you own in the universe. Yeah.
So they want to be populated in the universe?
Mm-hmm. The celestial kingdom. Mormonism's interesting because do you know much about? But
that's also greed.
Kind of is, yeah.
I want to own most of the universe with my family.
Yeah.
Doesn't Jesus teach us we're all family?
Well, yeah, we're one body for sure. He talked about his one body of Christ, yeah. Where we're all unique contributing members to that body.
Because, dude, tell me this. Like, I feel because of social media, and there's a lot of things I don't like about social media, but there's something that I do like. And what I like is the ability that right now, I don't know you from Adam. Mm-hmm. Okay. And whether you know me or not, I might be the same for you.
I grew up on a couple of your movies.
Thanks, Doug. Appreciate it. So your person reached out to me and very persistently. And so I was like, listen, I watched some of your stuff. I'm like, this is interesting. I don't know what kind of pod this is yet. It's usually was me ranting, but now I'm talking to more people. Social media has given us a way to connect that we never would have, even though you're right over the hill where you were. And B, well, also Utah's not far away. And B, I can kind of be connected with you now, not knowing you, where I wouldn't have been in the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah.
But I'm invested. Or I'm repelled. Or well, I'm not, but you know what I'm saying? Like with people. So we are in a weirdly bizarre way connected because, well, it is not, it's the internet and social media. So I kind of weirdly feel more connections to people, even if I don't feel close to them, because I can see them.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
For sure.
And it's wild. It's too much time. It ruins our brains in some ways. But so it, in a weird way, this is going to sound terribly wrong, but I understand when Jesus says we're all connected. It took this weird construct of mankind for me to kind of see that. Because there's comedians I never heard of and I would have never heard of. Now with social media, I may see them. And then I may run into them and they may get popular before they wouldn't have been because they didn't have the voice.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. So just, it's different than what you're saying, but it's basically this whole one body, planet, Earth, whatever we are.
Yeah. Well, and another good byproduct of social media is it brings reform into systems too. Right.
If it's done properly.
Yeah. Well, and that's the balance is I look at what our platform through Instagram did, and it's helping reform the institutional church in America.
You're doing it correctly, but there is a lot of people on social media with voices. It gives everyone a voice.
Yeah.
But a lot of people should have laryngitis.
Yeah, for sure.
Come on. I'm sorry. People want to say that. Not everybody gets a trophy. If I were to go in the ocean with you, do you realize how good of a surfer are you? Can you go up to, what's the place in Ventura? What's it called?
Rincon, probably.
Okay, Rincon. One of the toughest in the world?
It's a good point break.
Okay. So you go out there and you can just shred?
I could surf, yeah.
Gnarls, okay.
Not I'm in Utah now. But flat. Yes,
on the
I'm a good surfer.
Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Okay. I can boogie board.
There you go.
But I'm not like, I actually do pretty good in Hawaii. But I go to by that volcano out of Maui, where I don't think the waves get so crazy.
Yeah.
There's a part of Maui that's very chill. I'm not you.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm you. Okay. My point is, social media's downfall is that people can enter, let's say, comedy and be doing it for 6 months, and they'll get with somebody who's been doing it for 30 years, and they'll be like, guys like us.
I see what you mean.
And what I love about surfing and sports is there's no bullshit. You either stand up on that fucking board or you're toast.
Yeah.
You have to respect the ocean and the board. And where social media is good, where it gives people voices, also gives a lot of delusion.
Yeah.
That being said, going to Kenneth Copeland, do you believe that non-human entities walk this earth?
100%.
And what do you believe they are, if one thing? Just name one thing.
They're spirits.
But, like, are they aliens? Are they
aliens,
demons?
I think they're angels and demons.
Okay. So, do you understand what the Nephilim is?
I do.
And I've been learning all about this. So tell me when I'm wrong. The Nephilim were sent down from the higher ups, whether it's God.
Well, the Nephilim are half-breeds. Half human, half angel, half fallen angel.
Who came before them?
The angels came down.
So the angels, and then the Nephilim got tempted by women.
No, the Nephilim, or the angels bred with women, and the Nephilim were the byproduct of that breeding.
And they were the giants.
They were the giants, yeah.
This is being talked about a lot more in normal society now. And then they ruled the earth, and they were horrific.
They were gnarly, yeah.
And then they died out?
The story, the flood, Noah's flood wiped them out. So here's what's brilliant about the scriptures. So and I talked about it briefly. So right now the modern Christian in America usually holds a 66 book collection of the Bible.
66? Weird number.
666 is a weird number. I just posted about this. So do you know that the Hebrew alphabet is also a numerical alphabet?
No.
Yeah. So the Hebrew alphabet is like God's. I swear it's extraterrestrial. I do believe the Hebrew alphabet is extraterrestrial. It came from somewhere else because it's alphabetical and numerical. If you take the 666 and put it into the numerical Hebrew alphabet, guess what it translates to?
What?
Nero Caesar.
What does that mean?
Power, authority. Caesar.
If I put 666, which in English terms is 18.
Yeah, the number is 666. If you take that and plug it in to the Hebrew numerical alphabet, it translates to Nero Caesar.
What do you mean it translates?
Like so the numerical alphabet.
So if I want to say la puerta in Espanol is the door.
See.
So you're saying that this is that version of it.
So 666.
So three numbers come into a word? I don't get that.
Yeah, well, the Hebrew alphabet is numerical. So I can write.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So I can write sentences.
Every number has a letter placed.
Correct.
Got it. Okay.
And so when you translate the Hebrew numerical alphabet 666, it translates to Caesar.
Nero Caesar, which means power.
Which means authority, power. It's hierarchy. So that's what's crazy in Revelation when they talk about 666. It translates to power.
And power corrupted?
Power corrupted.
Meaning Satan?
Well, power corrupts. We always say ultimate power ultimately corrupts. So here's what's crazier. So because you were raised Catholic, so the Catholic Church had the Latin Bible, and you had to come and listen to someone read it. They had to understand Latin. So one of the first translations, the first translation was the Geneva Bible. And in the columns of the Geneva Bible, the monks wrote that 666 translated to power and authority. So that's what King James didn't like, was the fact that the Geneva Bible talked about 666 as being power, as being a kingdom, a monarchy. And so he had his monks rewrite it, and he's like, get rid of anything that said, the monarchy is bad.
Because he didn't want to be taken down.
Exactly.
So that's why they say something is before the King James Bible or King James Bible.
Well, what do you mean something before?
Because there's a King James Bible, and then there's other ones.
Yeah.
So which is the truest one in your mind? Before the King James Bible? Because he altered it?
Well, the truest translations would be the all the oldest scrolls that we have in Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek. But my personal book translation that I read is the New King James, and it's the most authentic. I would argue it's the most authentic to the scriptures.
And the scriptures came from
multiple writers.
Do we know, can you name, let's say Matthew?
Yep.
And Matthew was an apostle.
Correct.
So we're saying that Jesus was real.
Mm-hmm.
He was the Son of God who created everything, this celestial being.
Mm-hmm.
And he was this junior celestial, correct?
No, well, this is theology. I would argue that he is God. There's only one.
Okay, we got to remind me about the cross. So that's already confusing because God sent down his only son.
Well, God, again, just like all storytelling.
Fascinating.
Just like all storytelling, we humans understand the construct of a father and son. But if you ask every Christian, most Christians will say, I believe in the Trinity, which is the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, but what's the Holy Ghost?
The Holy Ghost is technically the helper that Christ says, my Father's going to send you a helper.
So God, his Son, the Holy Spirit, which is the helper.
Yeah, and guess what? They're all one. So when a lot of Christians will say God is three different beings, no, God is just one.
This is when it's going to get confusing.
Yeah. So this is the archetype, the story of the scriptures, which is all about creation, fall, and redemption.
But people don't believe that. There's a lot of people who don't believe that it's just one.
So that's theology. Theology is literally the interpretation of the Bible. Have you seen the movie Interstellar, Christopher Nolan?
Of course.
It's like one of my favorite films of all time.
It's starting to make sense, and it's still hard.
Mm-hmm. It's so brilliant.
Why?
Well, Christopher Nolan is just, in my opinion, one of the greatest directors of all time.
Incredible.
Because of the work that he and his brother do in regards to back end on developing the stories and the science and research that goes into it.
So why do you, I think I'm going to know why, but why do you like that movie so much?
On so many levels, on being a father, like how what he did to get back to his daughter.
Here's what I think.
Yeah.
Let's go to the end.
Okay.
Do you remember?
Mm-hmm.
It's still hard to understand.
He goes back out.
Well, he was looking at himself while he was there.
Mm-hmm.
So it basically has the ending to me was quantum reality.
Yeah.
And so that's what I thought was fascinating, and I still kind of don't understand it, but I kind of do.
Mm-hmm.
It was basically he was able to look at himself in multiple realities.
Yeah.
So how does that do with the God ghost?
The reason why I brought that up is because it's like the father and the son, right? He's a father. He leaves when his daughter's little. He comes back the same age pretty much, and his daughter's old.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's still the same father, though. His daughter's changed. And so so the story goes, God creates the heavens and the universe, or Jehovah creates the heavens and the universe. And this is a fun one. Do you know the first verse of the Bible?
Come on, bro.
In the beginning.
Oh, that's right.
In the beginning.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
Earth. There you go.
Okay.
Genesis 1:1, baby. Look at that.
Genesis. Generate.
So
Genesis is first because generate.
Is that what it's?
I don't know. I just made that up.
I don't know.
Sounds interesting.
I like it though, but so
general intelligence.
In the beginning. That's not the proper translation.
What is it?
In beginning. So the first word of the Bible is actually Bereshit, and in beginning is in something. And so when you break that down, it's in Christ, God created the heavens and the earth. So Christ is God. It's all one. What's his name? Alan Watts. Did you ever read Alan Watts?
I've heard of him.
Alan Watts is like one of the leaders of the psychedelic movements. He was a pastor. He was started one of the leads in the psychedelic movements in the 70s. Like, brilliant guy. He wrote a book called The Triumph of the Modern, he wrote a book called Wisdom of Insecurities. Brilliant guy. But he talks about this, how they're all one. And humans, we like to separate things. Oh, you're a father and you're a son. It's all one. This outside being. So if you go back, again, let's go back to the biologos, that group of experts, theoretical physicists.
What does that mean, biological what?
Well, biologos is their nonprofit. That these guys study the creation of the world.
What's the logos part mean?
Logos it's Latin.
So wait, because you're going a little all over, and I get what you're saying. If you're a father of a child that's your relationship, but you also are the son of your father. So you're saying you can be both.
Well, no. So here's where I'm going with it. So this is why I'm going back to biologos. So you have to see creation outside of the constructs you and I understand. And I think you could probably wrestle with this stuff really well. We're bound by our physical matter. We're bound by time. We don't understand what's outside time. We don't understand what's outside physical matter because we're confined to the constraints that we live in.
Yes.
Whatever created all of this. So that's why I asked, do you think we're created or are we chance? So you and I both agree, and we'll start this discussion.
No chance. No way.
Beautiful. So we're created, and you're created.
Created? There's no Big Bang. That is dumb as shit. That's a lie. But I don't know how we were created. And no gas ball did this. But also, I have a problem with some space stuff too. But also, we could have come from amoebas. I don't know if there was a garden. There may have been. But I will say that shit with Eve is 100. Do you know what I mean by that? Because Adam was minding his business. Think about this, bro. And he's got 10,000 fruits.
Mm.
And the snake comes down, and it's the devil.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, just don't eat that kumquat. And Adam's like, okay. And then Eve's like, what's that? And he's like, it's a kumquat. You're not supposed to eat it. She's like, why? He's like, well, you got 10,000 fruits. That's just the one you don't eat. She goes, well, the snake told me I should eat it. He's like, but you got all these. That I believe. You know why? And you can call me whatever name you. Because women are never satisfied. Am I wrong? They want more, bro. Be honest.
Well, the Bible says that.
Does the Bible say that?
Mm-hmm. Well, the Bible says that
women are never satisfied?
Well, no, that they'll always try to trump. That's an inherent flaw.
Of women? Is that true?
That they'll try to trump their husband.
Is that true?
I'm just saying that's what the Bible says.
You're going to get smashed for that.
I'm just saying that's what the scriptures say.
Cisgender piece of shit, conservative. Wait, the Bible says that women are annoying.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Bible, I don't know. It talks about
this is awesome.
The serpent
you just sold 100 Bibles.
Yeah.
Wait, so because it says that women try to trump their men.
Well, it's an inherent, just like men have inherent sin and flaw too. So that's an inherent sin or flaw that the scriptures say about what a woman does to her husband. That doesn't mean every woman does it. That doesn't mean
when you say trump the husband, what does that mean?
Like from an authority perspective.
They try to take over.
Mm-hmm. I'll find the exact verse for you.
Dude, this is so good. So wait a minute.
Because I do want to put context to this.
I don't.
Your desire shall be contrary to your husband, but he shall rule over you.
That's in the Bible?
Genesis 3:16. Let's see.
Say that again.
Give me one sec. Oh yeah, so it has to do with it's the snake. So the snake, God, I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. He shall bruise your heel. So he's talking about the snake. And he shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel. And it's this concept of
bruise the head. Why the head?
In regards to the snake, it's crushing the head of the serpent.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's let's see. I should call my biblical mentor to really walk you through it.
She should have given you the cliff notes. Sorry, wife.
Sorry, wife. I didn't think I was going to be pulled into this one.
Here's the deal. Let's just go back. See, to me.
Oh, but I will put enmity between you and the woman.
Stop using big words. What does enmity mean?
Oh, now I got to. Enmity is like discourse.
What's that? Just say
arguments, fighting.
Okay, just say I'll put drama.
Drama. There we go. Drama.
Shit. The first thing with all this shit is it's got to be broken down for the common man. Okay, it's got to be so simplified that people get the shit.
True.
And the second thing is that I love that. It's crazy because women are so different than men, but women have their own power and their own strength and their own knowledge base, and men have their own.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not to say, and for some reason, if you believe that Satan is the architect of chaos or the angel of the architect of confusion, it's one of those sayings.
Yeah, well, he comes as light. Right?
Yes. So we're in a time where everything is trying to be so convoluted and confused, right? And don't let me lose this thought, but a side note is like I used to have a representative who would keep me so busy, and I would say, what is this deal? What is that deal? And I never got to look at him. And I'm on a set, 3 things in a row, and you think, oh, he's acting, he's working. And he's doing the money. Since it's so busy, I'm not looking at all the fine print, and that's how they steal. That's what they do to a lot of us.
Yeah.
So you have to dig in. The confusion with new feminism is that men want to rule women. I could tell you right now, I could bring Gina Carano on this couch. She's better looking than anyone in this town, sexy, and so feminine in the sense of that she's a woman and she'll be there for you and listen. But she could also punch my head through the fucking wall.
Yeah.
That's a unique specimen. But she's also a woman.
Yeah.
So she's embraced all of these different traits of her. So when men are saying be uniquely feminine, embrace all of it. But there's something going on in society where just that statement will trigger a lot of, I don't even know if they identify themselves as women, that will say that you're trying to take away their rights. Hey, you want me to hold you and put you in my bosom as you are a confused male? That's beautiful.
For sure it is. Yeah.
But they were saying, no, figure it out yourself, fucktard. Or they want to go out in a dating app and have sex with 20 guys. I understand that you're right. But it's just inherently different for it because women are the receivers. Now, that would be considered a misogynistic take. Do you know that?
What? That women are the
That
receivers?
I think women should be more pure than men.
I think both. I think.
But women are pure. That's what they are. They're the receivers. Think about it. If you're a woman, you're literally receiving a man. And that's just, you're going to have to deal with all that energy, good or bad.
Yeah.
And so I just think the new feminism movement is just, it wants to make women so independent that there's no men. And I can't rock with that.
I totally agree with that. The Bible, like Genesis, clearly talks about this balance of a husband and wife. They're helpmates. They literally are there with specific roles.
And children need both energies. And that doesn't mean gay marriage and gay couples doesn't work, but it needs a balance of, you do need a feminine feeling in your children need a feminine energy and a male energy. And so, I don't know, but it's wild how traditional things that are considered organic things of this world are being villainized. And it's bizarre. And now they'll call you a Jesus freak.
That's you can call it. I was called the Antichrist. I'll take Jesus freak.
How are you the Antichrist?
Because I'm tearing apart their institutions. I don't know. They call me Satan. We've gotten a lot of heat.
How are you Satan?
Because I'm questioning the traditional model.
But you're not.
So this is what's cool. So like Christ says something, and it's in multiple gospels, and he walks into the temple, basically the synagogue, the churches of the time, and he's arguing with the religious leaders. And he's saying, you've taken your traditions of men, so you've taken what you've built, and you call it doctrine. And so we take what we build, and we call this truth. No, dude, like, we just build things. Humans build things. But that doesn't mean it's truth. That doesn't mean it's doctrine, right? It means it's just tradition, but we call it doctrine now.
Okay, so it's kind of like a Cobra kit car.
Yeah. Yes.
I used to have a kit Cobra, but it isn't a real Cobra.
Yeah, it looks like one.
So it's imitation crab.
Yeah.
It's not the original. It's not the whole. That's fascinating. So men's grimy, dirty ways have infiltrated and ruined a lot of the teachings of the higher powers of God.
Couldn't have said it better.
Okay.
Yeah. And now we call the grimy, dirty ways God's ways. That's what I always say about that book, the Bible. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to your pastor. Like, don't take what we say as truth. Read the book. Here's an analogy, since you're a film guy.
Go ahead.
So there's only 13% of Christians have ever even read the Bible. So that's like you, and then they say, man, I'm going to commit my life to this. That's like, from a film perspective, you see a trailer on your phone or on TV, a movie trailer, 90 seconds, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, and you're like, that's my favorite movie of all time. I'm going to commit my life to watching that movie. You've never even seen the movie. There's some, like in Chicks Dig Gay Guys, we put every single funny moment
It's a great title.
in that trailer because the movie wasn't that funny. But there was moments that were freaking hilarious. And so based off of a trailer, we don't know if the movie's any good. Based off of a couple sermons and what your pastor tells you is truth doesn't mean that dude's speaking the truth.
But here's the issue I have. Where... Oh, God,
You're a mess.
I wish I had some sugar. Where does the Bible come from? Like, you have to have faith that these guys wrote it. The only thing I truly kind of believe, doesn't mean I don't believe this other stuff, but, you know, is that I think the Vatican has everything. So how can I be a practicing Catholic when the Vatican has, I don't know, $10 billion, I think they say, in jewels,
mm-hmm.
and another $10 billion in real estate?
Mm-hmm.
And yet they have stuff from, like, I don't know if this is true. They may have something from BC.
Yeah. Well, their vaults are like, they have vaults.
They say that they actually have like spirits in like jars.
They say that? That's,
like something crazy. Yeah. Like they've contained. There's rumors of this stuff.
Yeah.
So if this is the case, they share nothing with us. Mm-hmm. And so it makes me that's where religion gets messed up. Because the simplest thing is this. You're you, I'm me. Mm-hmm. Just be simply a good person. You know what I mean?
Well, that's like, again, ultimate power ultimately corrupts. When you put when you put the power of a church on top of Christ, it corrupts. It will always corrupt. Christ came, like right before they decided to kill him, he went into the synagogues in the temple with a whip and started whipping fools and flipping over tables with money on it, saying, "You've turned my father's house into a robber's den."
Yes, that's right. I do remember seeing that.
And then then they're like, "We got to kill this dude because he's threatening our power structure. He's threatening everything we've built."
Okay, so when Jesus went on the cross, mm-hmm. and he was sacrificed, that was an actual way to torture people back then, is mm-hmm. on crosses, right? This is a documented thing.
Yeah.
He said, "I came and died for your sins." Why did he have to do that?
So this is biblical fulfillment. So this is a big deal.
It shall be written and shall be done.
Well, so in the Mosaic laws, in the Levitical systems, you had to atone for your sin. So there's 613 Mosaic laws. And anytime you had a sin offering, if you sinned, you'd have to bring an offering. The Levites would slit its throat, bleed it out, burn it.
Hold on, dude. You're saying a lot. An offering is alive?
Well, it would be until they killed it.
I mean, it's not just like a bag of beans. It's like a chicken.
A bird, a goat, a sheep,
Hold on.
an ox.
Let's go back for a second. This is where we're going to have a problem. So what's Mosaic mean?
The Mosaic is the Mosaic law is Moses brought down off Mount Sinai.
So I commit a crime. Let's say, what's a crime? I stole 3 of your sheep, right? Mm-hmm. Would that be considered a crime?
Yeah, I think, I don't know those. You'd have to give them back plus a certain amount.
Okay. So then let's say I stole some sheep, I got busted, and they mm-hmm. say in order to be repented mm-hmm. or to be forgiven, you got to bring me my sheep back, plus bring me an offering.
The Mosaic covenants are very complicated. But I'm talking about a sin offering.
I'm just trying to break this shit down.
Yeah,
bro.
So basically, hey, you're a bad boy. When you break the law or you do something bad, you have to bring an offering, and there's a group of men that will slit its throat and burn it and sacrifice it for
That's
you.
Horrific. Yeah. Now think about that. Mm-hmm. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. What do you it's a blood offering. Like, it was about the blood.
Okay.
So giving an offering is atonement for your sin. And remember, this is how the biblical story goes. So something has to die to atone for your wrongdoing. Is the way the biblical story is written in the Old Testament, in the Mosaic laws. So when Christ sacrifices himself, his story is, I am the final atonement for all of it. So Jamie, Christ, as you said, he hung on that cross as a sacrifice for your and my sin, as the story goes. So he is the final atonement. His blood was spilt for you and I. Hence the Eucharist and communion. Right? So you take you drink the grape juice or the wine.
I get it all.
Yeah.
But you just might have caused a big problem.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you.
Are you a vegan?
No. This is a moment of clarity for me, what you just said. This is intense, dude. So something dies for something to live. You've heard that term.
Yeah.
What you're saying is Christ had to die so we can live. Okay. But do you know who else celebrates those tenements?
Who?
That's a Satanistic practice.
Is it?
100%. That's why you see people that are successful. I've ever seen this. A lot of people that are successful. There was a tragic death in their family. Have you seen that? You've never seen that?
No. Is there a tragic death in your family? You're successful. Did you have a tragic death?
No.
No.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
But maybe I only was, I could have been capped. I'm talking about mega success throughout the world. If you look up the tenements of Satanism, you must sacrifice. Do you understand who Baal is? And what was Baal's number one thing that he what? You had to bring him what?
Children.
And then he would do what?
No, he sacrificed them to him.
He would eat them.
Yeah.
Does this sound familiar, like anything going on in the world right now?
So season 2, episode 1 is about ritualistic abuse, and we have
horrific. But
corroborated stories.
But what's
about
the biggest name connected to that right now?
To
this type of shit.
You talking about Epstein?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in a way, and I'm not trying to be sacrilegious, the way you describe it, and then there's people that argue and say this is Satan's realm. And there's other people that say, no, this is God's realm, right? And Satan was the fallen. I guess Satan apparently was a good angel.
He was. Well, okay, you've just given me a revelation too. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
So Christ, he willingly went to the cross, right? So maybe is it his blood atonement that cracked Satan's curse on the earth? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I want you to open up your mind completely. Here's what's crazy, okay? If you look at the tenements and the darkest shit, I'm going to say some things. I mean, I don't, this is since we're going there. If you believe that this stuff in this Epstein list, that some of it is true, and it's not just perversion, it's actual sick, ritualistic beliefs, and they're completely devoid of human emotion, and it's just to get. So one of the laws of Satanism is it's called "do what thou wilt." You got to know that. Did you know that?
Have you studied
I'm educating.
Satanism?
I'm in Hollywood. It's everywhere.
For sure.
Everywhere. So the how can I say this? Do what thou wilt means do whatever you want.
Yeah, for sure.
Whatever you want. I'll give you a slight little thing, and you can tell me if you understand it or not. You grew up probably as a surfer, skate rat, did a lot of skate parks. The most popular sneaker was something called a Vans. Vans, the most popular thing was the checkerboard. The colors were black and white, good, evil, light, dark. It's not it's not so easy to just dismiss this.
Yeah.
The checkerboard, you see that in multiple things in multimedia, Katy Perry videos, movies, all this stuff. What is it?
Yeah.
They will tell you that it is a remote control for choices, meaning you have the ability to do something. I want to get $100 from you. I can use the light, which is the white, or the black, which is the dark. However it is, has no consequence on me. I just need to use something to get it from you, whether it's going to be by hook or crook, good or bad. And that's the basic belief of Satanism. And then you must sacrifice something. You've heard this, to get something.
Yeah.
Selling of one's soul, meaning do something bad to get the riches. But at the end, your soul's mine, bro. That's what that whole thing is. And when you say all this stuff, and I'm not trying to be sacrilegious, there's a crazy lot of weird stuff. For instance, the drinking of the blood as a young boy, we never drank blood, but the wine and the body, that's weird.
It's significant.
It's weird. Yeah. If you compare that to Epstein, you know what pedophores are?
Well, you're not eating someone though.
But it's symbolic.
It is symbolic for
you
sure.
You're eating Jesus.
Because that's saying
it's symbolic.
Yeah, well, no, it's saying dark, you will take my blood. You will become like basically what he's saying is follow me and pick up my cross or pick up your cross.
Sure.
Yeah.
A guy from 800 AD might have thrown that in, the Kenneth Copeland of Calgary. You know what I mean? That could have been thrown in.
Maybe. But, yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like all of this stuff needs to be clearly thought out and be like, what's the truth? What isn't? And the more I hear about this stuff from people like yourself, Jamie Hanshaw is very good. She's a wonderful researcher. Jay Dyer's another one. Alex Jones. I mean, it depends on what you believe. The people that are considered out here, they're not. There's basic. I could go on this stuff all day.
So here's what I would say in regards to
Jesus
Christ.
loves you.
No.
And he wants $50.
Actually make it 500.
Exactly.
For the Church of Jamba. No, it's when Christ said something that I firmly believe, or it's written that he said this. He said, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No one gets to the Father except through me. It took me 32 years to wrestle with that line. Because guess what? I'm Nathan. I don't want to follow anybody. Like, I want to beat to my own drum. I want to be what he said, do as thou wilt, right? And so when Christ says, I'm the way, and you follow him and you mirror him, light comes into your life 100% when you follow his teachings. Who to help, who to love, how to love. And then I'm the truth. When you look at his teachings, I've read a lot and I've researched a lot. There's nothing that's more truth than his teachings and that entire book, in my opinion. And then I'm the way. You follow him, you follow his teachings, and that gets you to quote unquote the Father. Because the biblical story, the Old Testament story, the Jewish story, the tribe of Israel, like there was always a mediator to get into the Holy of Holies. And this is where it gets fun. If you can pull, like even me, you're good at removing yourself from Christian bias because you don't follow the tenets of the faith. So you can see into it without a bias of, oh man, I believe the Eucharist or communion is the real body and blood of Christ, right? So I'm pretty good at stepping outside and saying, I want to look in with the least biased lenses possible. So when I look at the story of Christ, if I can say, hey, you know what? These books, the Bible is written by men who were inspired. I firmly believe that. And the tenets in these books are the purest way for to survive and not to survive, for salvation. Then I can look at it as a full story. And when you look at, so then you look at the story of Israel and the Levitical tribe, always, you had to have one high priest to connect you into the Holy of Holies. You couldn't do that. And so now Christ comes. There's no more intermediary. There's no more man that stands in the intermediate to get you into the Holy of Holies. You can walk right into it as the story goes. And that is Christ. Christ is the way and the truth and the life. And no one gets to the Creator except through him. And it's through his teachings. It's through living a life of love. It's through living a life of sacrifice and picking up your cross. It's through fighting against every man-made desire of wealth and security and prosperity and all that bullshit. And so that's what's cool is it's like when you follow Christ, it's a life of self-sacrifice for others. And that pushes against all of humanity. And everything else, I'm all for open discussion. If theoretical physicists at Oxford are like, Nathan, I believe in Christ, but I also believe the Big Bang was probably the mechanism that an exterior God that's outside of time and reality used to create all this, I'll gladly sit and listen to that. Because the one thing I know is self-sacrifice for others is the purest form. In Christ's brother, James, pure and undefiled religion is helping the orphaned and widowed in their distress and then living an unblemished life. So don't fall to the traps of the world. Don't do as thou wilt, And that's the difference between Christianity is it's a faith of total self-sacrifice. And guess what? There's not 40 virgins waiting for me. So that's the difference is.
But the difference is that you share a rock with people that don't believe that.
Totally fine.
I understand what you're saying, but my point is to push back on that is is what you're believing, was it written really truthful? Because there's people that will say the Bible is Harry Potter.
That's totally fine.
There will people that will say that.
Yeah.
And also, do you know who would say, hey, drink of me and live of me and follow me and your life will go great? Charles Manson. Mm-hmm. I know that's dark, but you know what I mean? I'm with you, dude. I'm a believer that Jesus was a real person and he was a good person. I don't know enough about it. I need to have these conversations, but I'm just saying, just because the problem with the common man, the guy going right now and working at a Chili's and he's got two, a family to feed and a wife, and he's going, what the fuck, man? Mm-hmm. He needs some kind of belief, proof. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of faith that's being asked with some of this stuff, and that's the problem with this, so it's like, that's why AI is weirdly great, because maybe it can find out, and there's people are saying that the shroud of Jesus is actually documented. Mm-hmm. If they can prove that, that's like the beginning of like, I mean, I know I pushed back on you.
No, I like people when I love it, dude. I'll say this. That's why faith is
like
faith.
Mormons like mess it up with the stupid pushing in the mattress, and then Dalai Lama messes it up when he's kissing that kid. Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of weirdos. Mother Teresa, they saying is not a good person now.
Well, Mormonism is just.
Well, you hear I
get what you mean.
I mean, so a lot of these idols are being crushed across the planet.
Well, and that's what I mean. Burn it all down, because the Bible talks about this. Burn everything down. Test my faith. Test the Bible, because what's going to happen is out of that testing and that fire, the truth will come out.
A controlled burn. Mm-hmm. I understand that.
100%. Yeah, where can we go? Mormonism is basically Freemasonry and Christianity combined.
Well, that's a whole other thing. Listen, you're fascinating, dude. I could talk to you about this for a while.
I could talk about, dude, I would love to talk, like, anytime you want to talk about Christ or Christianity. Here's the thing.
So you're a man of Christ?
I'm a man of Christ, yeah.
You got your first marriage, and it could be your only marriage.
Yeah, my only marriage, yeah.
Okay. But now, I'm not even what you are. Like, I have to study more, but I haven't drank in 7 years.
Awesome.
Not because I was like a knockdown drunk or anything, just because I was fat. I was puffy. So this is really weird. You want to talk about the Matrix? I did an episode of a show called Lucifer.
Oh, geez.
Which is, right? Well, again, that's weird to have a show called Lucifer.
Yes.
It was a great show. The actor on it is incredible. The actress, too. And I played a strip club owner. I had these two hot strippers with me. And I looked so fat in my face. I was drinking like wine. And I'm like, that guy would never have these two chicks. So then I stopped drinking for a month. And then, anyway, it started this whole thing. And so then I lead to healthier lifestyles and all this stuff. And I only smoke a cigar once in a while. I don't drink now. This is going to sound crazy to you, because I believe that when you drink, you let down your spiritual goodness and bad forces can come in. Does that make sense?
I would agree with you.
Why they call it spirits.
Yeah.
That's why I don't see many good drunks, if you will. They're overtaken.
Yeah.
I know that sounds like, but my life is so crazy and the world's so crazy. I'm always drunk because of this world.
Yeah.
So I don't need it anymore. But I've lived.
I get that.
I did it for a long time. Yeah. Doesn't mean I won't again, but I don't know. But anyway.
No, I firmly believe that.
That's what I'm saying. There's like a lot of tenements of stuff. It's like, that's why it's like Kenneth Copeland. To me, he looks like some kind of an alien. He's a funny dude, though. He's charming.
I wouldn't say he's charming.
He is charming.
He's a good orator. He's very charismatic.
That's charming. Charisma. Charisma doesn't always mean positive.
But he's not charming. To me, is like gentle and kind and like goofy, and I want to be around you.
Yeah, of course. What do you think Prince Charming was?
Yeah, but then
he played the game and he's like, "Here's your slip of my love," and then when he gets her in that bed, forget it.
And his friends underneath pushing on her.
What I'm saying is, charisma it's all about allure, right?
For sure. No, you said he was charming.
But charming is a man. The devil has his charms.
Very true.
He's a dark entity.
Yeah, very true.
I mean, come on, bro. I could take you down Venice Beach right now.
Yeah.
I could take you into a room and 5 executives will charm the shit out of you.
That is very true.
And they're dark.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I know.
So here's where I'll go, like in regards to faith, because my faith is my faith. And that's one thing that...
I believe just start with being a good person, meaning Don't hurt anybody. That's it.
But you believe the world's evil. It's hard to be good just solo. Can you be? I can't. I cannot be good on my own.
Why not?
Because I'm a selfish prick.
How?
Because I just am.
What does that mean?
I'm animalistic. Animals will
you're,
always look out for
you already
number
made a choice to be with your wife, and that's a beautiful thing.
True, for sure.
You're going against your nature, possibly, if you believe that men are, propagating the species. So you've already gotten married. That's a sanctimonious union. Yeah. So that's the first. That's not selfish.
It took me 41 years to figure that one out.
Yeah, but it's good for you. You're doing.
But that's the thing. It's when you realize that it's bigger than self.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to realize that.
I don't think the world is. I think the place is a playground. I think the world is inhabited by short-sighters, and I believe there's just enough poison in it, and enough people don't question shit. That's why it looks as evil. But there's good people. I don't know. People like me in this pod, and they say you got to keep doing it. And every time I'm like too tired to do it, they're like, keep doing it. So clearly, I'm saying something that they resonate with because I do question shit.
Well, you're asking. I was gonna say you're asking questions, which most people are too afraid to ask questions. And here's what from my faith perspective, in regards to who Christ is, like on my deathbed, if I die, and Christianity is just a facade, man-made creation, I'll die going, hey, I lived a much better life, hoping and acting like this man, hoping for and acting like Christ, than if I just lived for myself.
Yeah, I mean, I do believe that. Well, if you were talking to one of my sisters, she believes that when you die, you sit in a box and worms go in your eyeballs. That's one of my sisters.
Like in the casket?
Yeah, but she's a super academic, fucking by the book.
Well, you don't think worms would eat your body?
I wouldn't want to be there. If you believe with my dad's probably on a ship somewhere, alien-wise. So there's all different beliefs in my world. For me, I think we go to another dimension. I don't know. So what you're saying though is that a life of self enjoyment, gluttony, all of that stuff is just it's a life unexamined. It's just like, hey, what can I eat today? It's great. What girl can I hook up with today? How much money can I make today? That is our culture.
Yeah, 100%.
Our culture. I don't want to call these bigger companies that are on the internet that do this. There's companies that completely keep you dumb and stupid and just. And I sound like a dork right now, so tell me when I don't. I've gone to Playboy Mansion a lot, and I still think that I believe the hookup culture is beyond crazy now. And this is the guy that went to the Playboy Mansion. So it's like, that's crazy that I'm saying that. So we are in a self-serving society. It's only going to get worse. They're going to push you away, okay? You're going to have a robot in your house very soon, like a car. Like your first Tesla is going to be and it's going to help you. And all of the tasks that you would do with another human will be gone. So literally the only thing I get fulfillment by connecting with people. Dr. Drew was one of the great guys who will say, our greatest fulfillment in life is interpersonal connection relationships.
100%. And
I agree with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Looking in your daughter's, is your daughter?
Yeah.
You're looking in your daughter's eyes and just you showing her the first time of, like how to swing on the park or wherever, you look at your wife and, you share something with her for the first time of some amazing restaurant that you've known, just she laughs at one of your jokes, whatever. It's she shows you something that you never know about. That's a fulfillment. That's why when you meet new people and you can show them things, it's like, oh, I matter.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. I don't know what I was saying, dude.
No, I get it.
That is crazy.
Yeah, but so that's why, like, to me, Christ is the emulate. Christ
is that.
Christ is that. Like he's the manifestation of perfection. And man, do I want to I want to be sanctified and be used and be self-sacrificing.
But wait, Christ said you can't be perfect.
Well, Hebrews says that you're perfected in Christ and being sanctified. So it's like we're always trying to become better versions of ourselves, right?
But Christ did forgive the whores.
Dude, Christ forgave everybody
the criminals,
everybody who had a heart and a heart it was all about heart posture.
Yes.
So if you believed, or if you were the religious elite who thought you were righteous,
yes,
he had a bone to pick with you.
The false idol things I can relate to. And that's a deeper combo that we can do another time, because it's like Hollywood is nothing but false idols.
And so is Mosaic. That is a literal brand and idol. The word Mosaic on that church. Like,
wow.
It doesn't say Jesus. It says Mosaic. You're worshiping this church. I'm going to worship this, what we've built. Yeah.
Wow. Wow, they would hate to hear you say that. But it's interesting. Dude, you're awesome, dude. This was crazy how long we talked. Where can they find your series? It's on Amazon.
The Religion Business is on Amazon, Apple TV, YouTube Movies. We've got some fun partnerships potentially dropping in the next couple weeks. And then season 1's heavy. It tears the institutions to shreds from an abuse perspective. Season 2 is super, super exciting because it shows that those 160 million Christians in America give enough to radically transform our communities. We could wipe out 70% of homelessness. We could eradicate the foster care system. If we lived like Jesus, this country would look radically different, and we don't need the government to do it. But the dangerous part is the government doesn't want to hear that. So.
And you made it because you wanted to expose hypocrisy. And
no, I made it because I
made it because of Christ. This is what you feel Christ would want you to do.
Yes, and I made it because I want my daughter to be able to live in a better world, and I want her to be able to enjoy the beauty of Christianity and the tenets of Christ outside of these silly traditions that we've built on top of it.
Mm.
So I want her to be able to understand Christ without needing to walk into Mosaic and hear the band and the fog machines and get that cup of coffee and donut. I want her to be able to sit alone and say, I know who that guy is in that book, and I believe that is the right way to live.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother. What's your Instagram?
Nathan Apffel.
Stop squeezing.
Oh, sorry.
Nathan Apffel on the gram. You guys, that was awesome, dude.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate you.
See you guys.
Like, subscribe. Jesus would want it that way.
Anyone's talking, they're blockers. That's not why I came to Hollywood. Fucking backwards. Bullshit.
I hate to break it to you.